All right. Let me see something, people. Let me see something. Let me cut this light off. All right. Oof. All right, it's not that dark. My computer is light enough. Um, this is not planned. I couldn't sleep. Um, some people have insomnia. If you mix that with depression, it could be an ugly combination. So I think I'm just trying to create a safe space, I guess, for anybody that decides that they might wanna, I don't know, just chill. You see what I'm saying? Come on the panel, say anything. I don't give a damn. Um, but yeah, I'm serious. Are you okay? I'd like to know. Hey, Janet, what's up? Thank you for supporting me once again. Um, feel free if you want to jump on the panel. I think you got some insight about like mental health, and I kind of want to move my channel in a certain type of direction where it can be a safe space for people. I think the way I conduct myself on YouTube is okay, but it can be kind of confusing because I bark on a lot of people too. Oh, thank you for asking me if I'm okay. No, I'm not. I'm not okay. And I used to think it wasn't okay to not be okay, but I'm not. I'm not okay. And I woke up at like 1:30, couldn't sleep. Pretty much, I slept from like what 7. Like I came home went straight to sleep, so I slept for a good 5 hours. Um, man, I love orange juice. But yeah, man. As you guys know, like I said before, um, I am an alcoholic, and taking ownership of that is important for recovery. Even though I've restarted twice since then, um, and I'm learning. Hey, what's up, Janet?
Hey.
I was just having a little diatribe here. Um, thank you for joining and supporting my platform. Thank you. But yeah, sometimes, um, so like I said, not being able to sleep stuff mixed with whatever kind of stresses you might have is a really bad combination because late at night is like it's less people around, less people to talk to. So I'm gonna try to make it like a thing from now on. If I can't sleep, or if I just have some extra time during the week on days where if it's even possible that somebody might be in a space where they're not okay, you know, maybe I can give some kind of solace, you know, um, and I want to move in that direction because if I start engulfing like every aspect of what I do into healing, then that
Hmm.
way eventually, everything I do and everywhere I turn, I'm going to be met with that because I think a lot of the times uh, people don't realize that they kind of get themselves into things a lot,
Right.
and then they look up and oh, how did I get here? So you know, from now on, whenever I feel a way, I'm just going to try to I don't know, be there for people because one of the parts of alcoholism and recovery is a big step that they talk about is on your journey. Like each step is like methodically planned out as far as like psychological things goes and positive reinforcement. And one of those things is uh, giving back in some kind of way. It works wonders for your mental health. It
Hmm.
does way more than receiving, And I don't have a book yet. I need a big book. I need a sponsor. I haven't got my sponsor. I just thought like I can go to meetings and things would just kind of fall in place. And then the first time I got met with some hardship, I went right back to liquor. Um, and it reminded me how quickly liquor can completely demolish all sorts of progress just in one sitting of getting drunk. I mean,
Hmm.
it negatively affects your mental health. I mean, not your mental health and your physical health drastically. Especially if you are a real alcoholic like me and you binge drink. Um, and it's not even so much an all day, every day thing. I would like to drink at night because that's when I'll be on panels, get off work or whatever. And for me, it was just something that kind of helped me sleep. Oh, and let me mention this again. I'm trying to make this a safe space. I'm dead serious. I want to know if you're okay because I'm not okay, and I feel like it's gonna. Whenever I feel like I'm not like that, I'm just gonna use my platform for something like this because, um, you know, uh, negativity kind of breeds negativity, and I don't know. You know, I'm not really into that. You know what I mean? But yeah, yeah. I don't know. It's just good. It's just um, I don't know. I figure if I can't sleep, I'm not gonna do um the completely counterproductive thing and get
Hmm.
shit face hammered. You know what I mean? Like I'd rather do the opposite and use my platform because to be honest, even if it's just one or two people, or even if no one joins and they just listen, if I took their mind off of not being okay for at least 2 minutes, 3 minutes, right? Like I'm not Superman. Like that's gonna have to be good enough for me and in the journey I'm on. You know what I mean?
But
But yeah. Are you okay, Jeanette? How are you doing today? How you
I'm
feeling?
okay. I'm okay. I was over on Tombstone today,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah, I know. Yeah, I was in the chat. I see she went
and I
live.
was talking to her about kratom because that's something that I've taken, and I took it
Right.
for a long time, a long time.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
you have a
and
lot of insight on that.
but I was thinking about going back to it, because the doctors do have me on opioids just to, you know what I mean, not take it because of how they treat you for taking it, but I still have my pain.
Uh-huh.
So that kind of, but like now that I've seen that, I can't. There's no way because when I was taking it, I didn't know that it could cause like seizures.
Right, right, yeah, yeah. And
Like,
it was certain things I didn't know too. I've heard some things, but I never like went in depth and researched it like that before. So I definitely, ooh, excuse me, I definitely learned a lot. Definitely.
like because for me it worked better. Like if I take it, it's like I can move around all day without pain.
Hmm.
And on the medication, I need more than one dose. So I think that, you know what I mean? I I was really thinking about going back to taking that, and like I saw some things that kind of scared me about it. So that I hadn't seen whenever I first initially found it. And I didn't really think much about it because I got it at the store just like you would any other um like supplement,
Right, right.
you know?
Um, oh, and I'm sorry. High fly G 123. When you find yourself in a hole, stop digging. Some great advice, man. Definitely. Definitely don't want to taking accountability. Definitely taking accountability. Understanding that for the most part, if you're an adult and you're in a bad space, you, chances are you got yourself there. Um, so yeah, you definitely don't want to keep making it worse. Liquor does a really good job of making bad situations pretty shittier. If you think the situation can't get more shittier, talk to an alcoholic. Talk to me. You know what I mean? Because if I could take something bad and make it real bad, just give me about a few hours and about $10, $11 of drinking money, and
Hmm.
I'll show you how I can make some shit that's not great real shitty real fast.
So, how many days did you have before you started again?
12.
And what things did you do to keep yourself off of it during those 12 days?
Well, during those 12 days, I was really, really motivated. You know, the motivation came from something that happened while I was drinking, and it wasn't good. It wasn't nothing horrible. Nobody died, no fight, no injuries. It's just an emotional thing. And I was like, damn, I never want to, I never want to have a conversation like that again with somebody that that cares about me or whatever. I don't want to like push people away. So I was like, man, look, if liquor's gonna take people out of my life, I don't need it. I'd rather have it gone than my loved one. So I was just really, really motivated. I was like, F liquor, da 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 da. And I was really on it. And then, you know, on a Friday, I had a really great week at work, and my dumb self was like, oh, I can celebrate. I've never celebrated sober, never celebrated anything sober. So completely ignoring all of that, completely ignoring the fact that I've developed very poor habits when it comes to drinking and that it's my go-to. My dumb ass was like, "Oh, it's been 12 days. I could probably have a drink and control it," and that's where I messed up. So I started drinking on Friday afternoon after work, and some other shit happened during the weekend, and that kind of made me say, "Fuck it," and just go even harder. Because like when you use something every single time you feel a way to cope, like you know it's not a surprise if you go back to it if you've never developed any other coping skills out after that. If I would have just said, all right, so I'm not going to drink this Friday afternoon, I'm going to go to a meeting and I'm going to talk, and or just listen or just be around people that are pushing towards a similar goal as me. And it's not like those resources aren't available. It's not like I didn't get access to those resources. Um, so I really had no excuse other than the fact that I was being arrogant and I felt like drinking. I had other options, but I was like, no, I'd just rather drink. I could handle it. I could do it. And yeah, then I binged for like from Friday to the next, you know, for the rest of the week. And then
Right.
I
And now
think
you.
I stopped like I think Sunday or like Monday afternoon or something. And so yeah, uh, tomorrow's gonna technically be day one, and well, Wednesday today is Wednesday technically, so it's gonna be technically my I'm restarting again. Um, and
But you're going to go through the withdrawals all over again
yeah, that's
happening.
a part of it.
Hmm.
That's a part of it. But like I said, taking ownership,
Yeah.
that's on me. You know, like I've been on this road for 10 plus years, and it's never led anywhere good. Binge drinking, it either messed up my health, messed up a friendship, messed up a relationship, lost a job, something got damaged, you know. And so, but at the same time, my arrogance was like, oh, I didn't drink for 12 days. I got this. And you got people that are sober for 20 years that are like, I don't even think about liquor. And if I
Hmm.
ever feel like I am, I've built up so many positive coping. I do so much with my day. To drink would just be super counterproductive. Like it would derail everything I built, type thing. And like I'm after 12 days, like, oh yeah, I got control of this. You know what I mean? Of this thing I clearly don't have any control of. So yeah, like I got this little app, and it counts my days for me, and they ask you to put in like how much money you will spend every day on liquor, and then every time you open it, it'll tell you how many days you got, how much money you've saved. It's really cool. It's a really cool app. And then obviously inside of the app, they have like discussion boards and it tells you how many people are using the app and how many people started on their first day or how many people made it to a week like you or a month. You know what I mean? Um, you know,
How much
yeah,
did you save in 12 days? I'm just
oof, like
curious.
$400. Well, more like 250. Yeah, more like 250.
That's a lot.
Yeah,
12 days, not even 30 days?
no, 12 days because I was it'd be in between on average. I want to say about $25 a day, possibly.
Wow.
You know what I
I
mean?
thought you were going to say like 120 or something.
No, I would probably drink a big bottle like every other day, and some days I drink it faster than other days, so that would be like two in a day, technically. So, yeah, it's really excessive. It's not healthy at all. Um, and like it's really not realistic to not acknowledge that you have like for someone not to acknowledge that they have a problem like that, and then
Hmm.
expect positive things to come from it when you don't want to like face something like that, like as you should, and like take ownership. So yeah,
So, do you have a goal for your saved money?
I go for the saved money. I've noticed that the less I drink, the more I eat, but I don't
Oh,
think I spend more money on food than liquor when it's like that because it's like um you eat, you get full, and then you on to the next day. You know. Hey, what's up, Goosey? Appreciate you stopping by, bro. Like I said, I'm gonna try to create a safe space here. If there's ever a time I can't sleep, um, I'm just gonna try to see if I can't, hop on. What's going on? So, what's going on? Yeah, I'm just trying to change the narrative a little bit on my channel, because you know, people, especially black men, young black men, they're afraid to say when they're not okay, and you feel me? So if I gotta hop on here and ask them if they're okay and give them a space to where they don't feel like they're alone, usually it's probably gonna be late night. Because like I said before, if you have depression or anxiety and you can't sleep as well, or like some kind of insomnia, that's really bad. Because when your brain doesn't rest properly, you can't think straight. So if you're feeling bad, you're gonna feel really bad. And if you can't sleep, you're gonna get annoyed, and your mind's gonna race, and your anxiety is gonna just, so it's a lot that comes with that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Appreciate that, Goosey. Appreciate that, bro. You see what I'm saying? Um, yeah, man. So it's what, Wednesday. I think it's officially been 24 hours, so I'm starting over again. But it's cool. You know, I lost a lot because of liquor. You see what I'm saying? I lost a lot. Like, well, I don't know. Everyone's definition of a lot is different, but for me, I lost a lot. A lot to me is certain people in your life, um, you know, they will distance themselves from you if you're like willingly harming yourself when you know you don't have to do that. You see what I'm saying? Let me see. I've been working on getting my sleep. Yes, me too. The binge drinking messed up my sleep schedule a lot, and like I said, liquor can mess up things in an instant. But at the same time, that first 24 hours sober is a big step because that next night you realize, like, hey, if I'm tired, I'm probably just gonna lay down and go to sleep. I don't need to drink a half a bottle of fucking E&J to pass out.
hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I used to think I did. I used to think I had to have a two 4 packs or 12 pack of Heineken. My ex girlfriend used to be like, "Why do you need 24 of them?" I'm like, because I'm gonna drink on that. So just not seeing anything wrong with it. And that's not healthy. I can't expect to be successful. Um, because as much as it might not seem like it, preach wants a family. I want little preachers. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, and but there's no way I can maintain that. Um, absolutely destroying myself with liquor every chance I get. Um, and I wouldn't want a dad like that. I wouldn't want a wife like that. I wouldn't want a partner like that. You know what I mean? So I just feel like I need to start from there. I'm lucky I don't have any kids, and it's not really affecting anyone else but me, which is good. I just,
Well,
definitely gotta get
I've
some
told you
on track.
before. I've told you before. My dad was a doctor, but he was also like what you call a functioning alcoholic.
Hmm.
So he would come home from work and sit down and like put back like a 12 pack at least.
Hmm.
But like I never recognized it. I didn't know.
Right.
And I didn't really know until my older brother started having problems. So my dad got sober because he couldn't tell my brother to be sober and not be sober.
Yeah, that's really dope. That's really dope. It takes a lot. And then see that whole family dynamic, like y'all might not know. Hey, Queen's Throne, the links here. Um, like I said before, you can't imagine how many nights I sat up trying to figure out how to go to sleep, try to figure out what to do with my time, try to figure out why in the world my brain is racing and the thoughts just will not stop. You can't imagine. So I just figure I'm not the only one, you know, and why not give people a space if they, even if you want to come up here and say, "Hey, preach, fuck you, nigga." If that makes you feel good, I'm not gonna take offense to it, you know. Um, insomnia is very shitty. I hate insomnia. Like, but see, it's a double-edged sword for me because I'm afraid of shit that puts me to sleep. But that's also hypocritical because drinking puts me to sleep. So, but it's funny that I trust. It's funny that I trust poison. I consume poison that physically, mentally, and economically, emotionally damages me. But I don't trust FDA approved pharmaceuticals that are literally made to do and perform one way. Um, so yeah, my thinking it could be a little more responsible in that regard. Um, but yeah, it's just a little space. I was gonna do something real cheesy and share my screen and just play like some ocean noises while we talk, but I thought that'd be a little bit too cheesy. I don't. I might do it sometimes or like play something cool looking in the background. But
Well, I might fall asleep because I was starting to fall asleep earlier. So
right, that's what I'm saying. If
if you
I
play ocean noises, I'm gonna definitely. You might hear me snoring. I'm just want to warn you. I'm not trying to be rude.
no, hey, look, listen. I just mute you and like because that's the point, right? This is the point of this space. Maybe it could be a little thing where people are like, "Hey, I know there might be a chance that preacher have insomnia tonight," or not. It's not really insomnia. I came home and went to sleep, so I fell asleep at like 7:30. I didn't wake up until like 1. So yeah. Let me see. Queenstone says I used to sleep very little, but sleep till my so the daughter was born. Always been a night person. Yeah, I've always been a night person as well. Always been a night person as well. But see, the industry I work in, it's 9 to 5. So it's not like I'm a like a warehouse dude. Now I've had overnight jobs. I've had nights jobs where you don't get off until 1, 2. Which were cool. Which were cool. Um, but even with that, I've always had a drinking problem. So I would get home at like 12:30, 12:45. Ain't nobody to talk to. I'm not tired for real. Because when you get off work, you get a little boost of energy. Because while you're at work, you're tired because obviously for a lot of people, their job is not something they want to do. So your brain is like, oh, I'm getting tired, but not really. You're just bored. You probably don't want to be there and disengaged, which is, I think, a natural thing. So I'd get home late. Bright Star, what up, man? Good morning, preach. Mods in chat. Wishing a safe journey. Thank you, sir. Yeah, man. Yeah. And I didn't want to do something like this because I do not like that I see a lot of people on YouTube exploiting so many different things that should be just taken seriously and handled a certain way. You know what I mean? Let somebody start donating or something like that, large amounts of numbers. I'm extremely transparent. If I'm gonna pay my damn rent with it, I'm gonna show you I'm paying my rent with it. But for the most part, if donations start coming like exorbitant amounts, like we're just gonna start finding fucking charities that are we can do a subscriber vote or a poll like, hey, what should we support today? Are we saying fuck cancer? Are we giving it to the battered moms? Is there a homeless shelter? Y'all want to food drive pantry? I don't know. You see what I'm saying? Because if I'm gonna do it, I want to do it all the way right. You know what I mean? And yeah, but I definitely appreciate you, Price Star. Thanks for the encouraging words, man. Like, because for 30 years, man, the whole time I've been on the planet, I did not know it was okay to not be okay. It was like a sign. It was like weakness. But actual true weakness is not facing it and then going and doing something, um, or partaking in a substance or an activity that's a detriment to your life and very potentially a detriment to people's lives around you. It's inconsiderate, you know what I mean? And you know, and really, really negative. Really, alcoholism. Me personally, I don't know about any other drugs or being addicted to anything else, but I know for a fact that within 24 hours, if I drink enough, like the first night of drinking will be cool, and then the second night I'll go harder, and then that night following I'll come down with like this deep depression, and it's the liquor messing with my chemicals in my brain, almost like a chemical imbalance or like an allergic reaction. You feel me? Um, so that's what makes it dangerous as well. Um, it could possibly tilt you. You see what I'm saying? So I developed habits of, okay, hold everything in. You can't cry, not even if you're alone. You can't tell anyone because they're gonna think you're weak and they might try you. Then you gotta do something about it. So best solution, let me spend $5, go get a 4 pack if I'm broke. But it's still enough to get some beer, right? Get some real cheap shit that'll fuck you up real fast. Go home, drink it as fast as possible, and pray that I don't sober up before I get tired enough to pass out so I can enjoy being drunk. That was the mentality. And I thought it was working until I started getting fired. Um, People telling me um, I could kill myself sleeping for entire days. Friends and family coming to check on me to see if I'm still alive because I'm just comatose from liquor. And I've never had any like attempted suicides or anything like that. As far as self harm, it's not really. But see, that's also kind of some BS too, because just because I'm not like putting something to my skin, I don't want to be too graphic. Just because I'm not like doing other methods to try to like discontinue myself doesn't mean I'm still not doing it in some kind of way. Um, it's all right, Queen's Throne. You feel me? It's all right. Preach gotta grow, man. You feel me? I want to be happy, man. I want to be happy. I feel like it's possible. I feel like everyone deserves to be happy. So if this is what I gotta do, then I'm gonna do it. It's uncomfortable. I kind of hate like every minute of it, but you know, it has to be a certain way. Like I'm not gonna ever be able to really enjoy um, things in life if I continue to destroy myself. Um, and not until, like I said, 29, 30 years later did I even realize that's what I was doing. Like inadvertently trying to kill myself. You see what I'm saying? Because like I said, liquor's a poison. You know, just a lot of health complications that come with it. A lot of people don't know that liquor has a lot of sugar the way it's fermented. It's usually fermented from fruit or something sweet, and then they add way more sugar to it because liquor by itself is fucking disgusting. Um, so they're really masking the flavor with a bunch of sugar. So a lot of people they'll get diabetes and be like, I don't even like sweets, but you're an alcoholic. So you have diabetes and your kidneys are fucked. Your liver's failing. It's fucking black and blue. Um, Liquor creates hypertension as well, high blood pressure, because liquor is also a blood thinner. Um, it could put you in a comatose state if you drink too much that you might not wake up out of, and it could damage your brain to the point where it'll just turn you into a vegetable completely. These are conversations I've never had in 29 years. Family full of alcoholics, full of alcoholics. I've never heard any of this until I decided to take some accountability. And I'm not saying it's anyone else's fault. I've been a grown man for well over 10 years now. Whatever you consider a grown man. At 20, well, shit, like 16, I had to be an adult, sort of. But yeah. So, like I said, man, so a lot of people feel like it's not okay to not be okay. You know what I mean? And that's not the case, man. I really would hate for someone to lose that fight with whatever they feel like is they can't control. Whether it's a substance or behavior, um, or a person, uh, or anything materialistic. Some people are addicted to shopping. 25 credit cards, 50,000 in debt. Um, yeah, so I don't want to feel like I'm just rambling. Like I said, I want people to feel like it is a safe spot. And yeah, if y'all want to come up here and say, "Hey, preach," I want to watch cats play with the yarn or some, I'm like, all right, you know what? We'll watch some cats play. We'll watch a couple cat videos. Man. You see what I'm saying? Like, because that's the type of shit I'm on. Because whatever I've been doing, as far as the liquor, that's not effective. So, um, you know, it's not effective at all.
Right.
It's counterproductive. It's detrimental. So, like I said, man, if I'm ever not feeling okay or I'm just up or something like that, I'm gonna try to, like I said, have this space be here. I don't see myself going to sleep for another hour and a half. So, is there anything you want to say, Jeanette? Go ahead. Once again, the link's in the chat. If you guys want to continue to like repost the link just to make sure it's refreshed in there, so that's like the first thing people see. That'll be cool.
Yeah,
Um,
I
yeah,
didn't have much. I just popped up to show you support.
thank you. I
And
really appreciate that. Really appreciate that. And like I said as well, like you don't have to come up. You don't have to, make yourself known. You know what I mean? What I learned from going to AA meetings is sometimes they encourage people to just sit in the back if they feel like they don't want anything to say, or even if they're under the influence at the time. They highly recommend and really ask people to not speak because it
right.
might trigger people. So I mean, you know, if you're not okay, just we're gonna talk some shit and preacher just want to make sure that if that's the case, you see what I'm saying? At the very least, I'm letting you know that it's not just you. You see what I'm saying? You
Hmm.
can't sleep. You feel like shit. You had a bad day. Um, you run to some you run the fucked up substance like me, and destroy your life every other week. You know what I mean? Whether it's a relationship, whether it's a job. You see what I'm saying? If I can get one person to get out of their head for 5 seconds, that's good enough for me because the struggle's real, man. The struggle's real, and you know, the situations aren't cool, man. And a lot of people they run to those things because they're like, I'm alone. Nobody understands this and how I feel. And yeah, of course you're gonna think that if your entire life people have told you that all the positive ways of dealing with that are are a detriment to you
Hmm.
as a man, it's gonna make you look weak. Or if somebody knows a certain thing about you, they'll use it against you. Well, shit, I've been using liquor against myself for a decade. So, and not everyone has thick skin. You know, my skin's pretty tough. I'm always running around roasting and whatnot. People always run around roasting me. You know, sometimes people say some pretty funny shit. But sometimes not everybody else has thick skin like that. You know what I mean? So if you're one of those people that feels like it's not okay to not be okay, it's okay. You know what I'm saying? It's cool. You know what I'm saying? It's not just you. You not alone. Oh, they gonna copyright me. I sing too well. They gonna think I'm Michael Jackson. They gonna think I'm playing the King of Pop.
I didn't know
Think about
that
my
about
7
you.
views I got.
And I've known you almost a year. I never heard you sing yet until right now.
You see, just 24 hours of not drinking, man. I'm getting my vocal cords back. Um, and specifically, like, look, man, the liquor does terrible things to relationships. I mean, I think it. The first thing that goes is your significant other. That's the first thing that goes
Hmm.
because they're the one that's probably the closest to you, right? And
Right.
they want to hold on, but they're like, I'm not gonna sit and watch someone I love kill themselves and not care. Like, what does that say about how they feel about me? So you're just gonna leave me alone? We're gonna be married for 10 years, then your liver's gonna fail. Like, so you don't think about shit like that when you're grabbing that. But I didn't. I can't speak for anyone else. But I'm saying I didn't think about. I wouldn't think about that when I go grab that bottle. I'm thinking about selfish things. I'm thinking about this is the easiest and the most effective way to completely block out anything negative I'm thinking about. You
Well,
know,
I think the thing about alcohol is it's like socially, we accept it socially, and people drink like in order to interact a lot of times. And then they push like other people to drink too, or
yeah,
they're not cool, you
yeah,
know?
yeah,
So I think that's what's different about it because we don't really like demonize alcohol.
yeah,
Where,
yeah. And the funny thing is, the alcohol in itself, in moderation, can actually be kind of okay
hmm,
because it's a blood thinner. A glass of wine a night can
right.
probably be better for your heart.
Hmm.
Your heart it takes less time to pump the blood through, and then you have it with dinner. Probably won't even drink the whole thing. Have a few sips, finish your dinner, go to bed, and your heart's pumping right along, right? But
Yeah,
if you drink the whole bottle, now it's a different situation. So
right.
I'm the guy that's gonna drink the whole bottle because that one glass to you is just like, oh, this is nice. You might get a little tiny buzz on or whatever, maybe two, and then most people are like, whoa, I'm getting a little dizzy. My feet are feeling like they're getting from underneath me. Let me
Right.
go ahead. Yeah,
I've heard like health benefits for wine, but I don't know about like E&J or dark liquors.
yeah. Dark liquors actually contain more sugar. That's why a lot of black people get diabetes too, because black people like black liquors, the Hennessy's, the
Oh, you know
the
what though? I have to admit, you know what I have done is, like when I've been sick, is taken it and heated it up and put lemon in it.
That actually does not sound like a bad. Wait. Do you heat up liquor?
Yeah.
I don't know about heating up liquor.
Like not like hot, but making it warm with
So
lemon.
like a little like a tonic almost.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, that's not bad. Because
But,
mine is all grapes mostly. It's just fermented grapes. So yeah, I don't
but
see that.
whiskey, warm whiskey with lemon.
Oh yeah, now I've heard of that. Warm whiskey. I've heard of that. A well placed shot of whiskey uh, could do wonders.
Right. If you're congested and sick, like, you know, I
Yeah,
don't even know. I don't even know where I even learned that, but I've done it. So, and it worked. So, you
yeah,
know.
yeah. And so now I've accepted that. You know, I I just can't have just one drink.
Right.
Uh, I can't just have just one beer.
So that's not, you can't do that.
Now let me not be too drastic about it. Um, I can I can have one beer. Like if I'm at a social gathering and I know it's a lot of people, and then I know if I like get shit faced, it'll embarrass people. Then I'll have like a Corona, but like
Right.
um, or like two, or create or make like a really heavily mixed drink with like a diluted alcohol and just sip on that if I'm like at a gathering with people. But if I'm home alone, left to my own devices and my own thoughts, like for a long time, like I said, my coping mechanism was the same thing every time. The only things that changed in those situations, the question wasn't that I was going to get hammered. It's how I was going to get hammered, how fast I felt like I needed to get hammered to feel better. You know, so the question wasn't whether or not I was going to drink; it was what I was going to drink.
Hmm.
Right? No problem, Quiz. Though I'm chilling, man. We chilling for like another hour, maybe hour and a half. Might pick up a few more hours of sleep and a nap. Um, but no, I found these really this really dope channel on YouTube. It's an AA channel,
Oh,
and let me,
but it's a real AA channel though.
real AA. Like these speakers are world renowned uh, speakers for Alcoholics Anonymous. I mean, these
Okay.
people 20, 25 years in, sponsored hundreds, thousands of people type stuff. I listened to him speak, and I thought at first it was going to be this kumbaya, um, just a whole bunch of circle jerking garbage. But I'm listening to these people, and they're very realistic,
Mhm.
actually. And what they say makes a lot of sense. So as you can see, it's uh, odontology, 12-step recovery media. I think I'm watching this one. I think I'm on this playlist. Let me see.
Okay.
Oh no, I haven't. I don't think I've seen that one. Hold on. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. So yeah, it's a lot of people, a lot of different famous speakers. I think, and it's a whole lot of famous alcoholics, like musicians and stuff. So pretty much, it's this. I mean, these are hours and hours and hours of just talks of people talking about their experience, their journey. Um, you know, talking about the steps and like their specific um journey or whatever. And like I'll listen to this at work all day. And the funny
You have
thing
to
is,
work tomorrow?
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
What
gonna
time
go
do you
in
get up?
10, well 9:30.
And
Like,
you're working outside now, right?
oh no, I'm in the office again.
Oh,
I'm in.
I mean you have to leave
Oh,
your
you mean
house.
outside of the home? Yep. Oh, yeah, I'm outside of the home. Yeah. It's usually, I mean, I've been working from home for the past 3.5, 4 years.
Hmm.
Uh, Cough drops, honey, and lemon. Hell yeah. I hear that, Queen stuff. But so yeah, I listened to a lot of this, and I don't know. It's really cool to hear these people be so candid and honest. I mean, it's dudes. Some of these speakers, man. I mean, it took them lo- losing their wife, their family, their house. I mean, it took them losing everything. Some of these guys, and some of these guys never got it back.
Hmm.
I can't imagine. Like, okay, so you probably drink because you were depressed and sad and felt lonely. That led to you losing your entire family. You know you're never going to get them back, but you've been sober for 15 years, man. You're a fucking rock star, bro. You know what I mean? Like that takes fucking work. Um, there's this one guy that was like, he was like, when he first got a sponsor, he was like, the dude saw me at a meeting, his eyes locked on me, not like in a weird way, but he was just like, people that sponsor people really like seeing new people. They're like, oh, a new soul to save. Now it's not a selfish thing. Like, oh, I want people to revere me and say that I'm a great person because I stop people from drinking or help them or whatever. That's not what it's about. It's about serving. You know.
Right.
So the dude was like, yeah, this is my first sponsor. He's like, he saw me at the meeting. He starts talking to me. His eyes lighting up. He's smiling. He seems like this happy-go-lucky person, and I'm sitting there 24 hours sober, still thinking about drinking. Like this guy's fucking crazy. And he was like, for the next, he was like, I think he said for the next couple of months, he was like, every single chance he got, he's taking me to a meeting. He's going to a meeting every single time. He was like, every single time he asked him about anything, he was like, he'll call his sponsor. His sponsor will contact him, and his answer, go to a meeting. What step are you on? Are you going through them? He was like, his answer never changed. And he was like, he asked him, he's like, what the hell? He's like, because it works for me. If I
Hmm.
get the even slightest feeling that I'm going back to a place where I feel like drinking's the best solution, I go to a place where it's a group of people that know it's not.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's so many different people. I didn't know it was this many people. I didn't know it was this many people that like get it. Because liquor does like similar things to most people and how it affects their lives negatively.
Right.
You know, it's a couple guarantees. If you drink enough, your liver will fail. Your health will get really poor. It's not guaranteed that your family's going to leave you for good, but if you put your loved ones in a position where they have to choose between watching you die and not, they're not going to watch you die.
Right.
Um, and so that's almost a guarantee too. And then the whole thing with the alcohol caused accidents and stuff, which I think is the worst part of it. When innocent people that are just driving home, get the shitty end of that stick. And the real sucky thing about that is when you're drunk, your body's more limber and loose.
Hmm.
So more times than not, the drunk person will survive the crash because when you're sober, your body tries to brace for impact and your body like tightens up. So it becomes you're trying to create you're trying to turn yourself into like this tough ball, but
Hmm.
you're running into the inside of a car or steering wheel.
You know
But the
that.
drunk person, they're just gonna flop around and bounce off of things, and most likely they'll survive. So that in itself is like some I don't know. It's like some evil, not evil, but damn, that's a
That
hell of a
happened
thing.
with it. That happened with my one of my nieces. She had graduated.
Oh wow.
She graduated college and was on her way to law school. and went out to celebrate with her boyfriend. And he was supposed to be the driver.
Designated
He
the DD.
drank,
Yeah.
he drank, and he hit a couple like from behind at 100 miles per hour. And so,
Wow.
he ended up going in, her boyfriend ended up going into prison. They're not together,
Well, I
because
can imagine.
Steph doesn't make it. But she, like, was really hurt too. Not, you know, not as bad as them, but it's just one decision like that can, like, take people's lives.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And like I used to think because I wasn't like a violent or mean or nasty drunk that it wouldn't affect any of my relationships. I thought because like I didn't get drunk and get mad or get violent or jealous. All the stuff you hear about the worst parts of drinking. It's always like the battered wife. Oh, he drinks, and the next thing you know, it's da-da-da. Because I'm not that. I was like, oh, I'm not that bad until I started vomiting blood and getting ulcers. The ugly side of drinking that people don't talk about.
Wow.
Yeah, um, it messes with your digestive system real bad, and also what liquor does, it it makes your stomach overproduce acids that are meant to break down food, and it's called bile. It's this
Mhm.
yellowy stuff. The only reason I know what it looks like is because I vomited it up before. Um, it's acid, so it burns as you vomit it. It tastes disgusting. It tastes like earwax, and you drink, and a lot of drinkers don't eat. So
Mhm.
I would drink a lot on an empty stomach and drink cheap liquor. So the cheap liquor makes it worse faster because it's cheaper. It's bottom of the barrel garbage. You know, um, so the more you drink, the more your stomach overly produces these acids, and it gets to the point where that's the only thing on your stomach, and your stomach is like, wait a minute, I'm not just supposed to be digesting just the acids that break down the food. The acid should be dissolved before, as the food breaks down, so it's nothing left. But see, when you're not eating and you're drinking alcohol, it's overproducing those acids. So shit, one day you're gonna get a real sharp pain in your stomach. It's either gonna be because the acid is literally eating the lining of your stomach, which is an ulcer,
Mhm.
and and then your body's gonna purge itself so it can get it out. And I don't know if you've ever watched a movie where people, or you know what projectile vomit is,
I mean,
but
I've seen people drink projectile vomit.
right, right. I don't know if
I've
people
seen it.
usually look away because it's a disgusting thing to look at. But I don't know if you've ever seen it in a movie or in real life. I remember once, a few different times, I've thrown up and it was all yellow. There was nothing on my stomach. It was just all bile. It
Hmm.
tasted so bad. I've never saw anything come out of my body like that before. I had to Google it. I Googled, I just threw up yellow stuff. And then Google was like, alcohol makes your body produce this excessive amounts of this. And if you're not eating to
Just
soak it up,
alcohol? Just
well, I don't know if something else does that or has that same effect on the digestive system. I don't know, but I know that alcohol does because I don't do any other substances or mind
mhm.
altering stuff, or you know. And this was before I started therapy, and I've always hated taking pills. I don't care
Right.
what it is, Advil, Tylenol, PM. I don't like none of that. Anything that makes me feel super duper drowsy and like out the game, I don't like it. But once again, it's a poor thinking and thought process thing because I'll say that and then I'll drink a half a bottle of liquor and I'll get just as tired. Like I
No,
fell asleep, you know?
I don't think that it's a poor thinking process because it's, you know, I have to take medication because of my back, but then at the same time, they're like shitty to me because of the medication they put me on, so I don't think it's a bad thinking process.
Yeah, you know, I'm just trying to and I really don't want this to be a thing where it's like look at preach talking all this shit. It's not guaranteed that I'll never drink again. I might have a couple of um day ones again. I'm hoping I don't. I definitely want. Yo, what's going on, Otis? Thank you for supporting the channel, bro. Hit that like button. Let people know this is a safe space. Just in case, I want people to know that there's a chance that there's going to be a safe space as often as I can make it happen. I might make it a thing. I might just come home from work now. From now on, take my ass to sleep, and then hopefully I'll be able to wake up and hop on around the time that people usually have their insomnia. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. Because I know how I will feel when I felt like there was absolutely no spaces for me to go to even interact with a person. And sometimes that just brief interaction with someone who's like, hey, you're not the only one could make the world of a difference. Um, but yeah, definitely going to try to do that. I don't know if I'm going to number them. I don't really have a set plan for this. Um, I'm just kind of looking at girls' booties on Instagram and just kind of talking, So we have. She said, "You ain't gotta apologize for doing your thing, thug." Um, but yeah, it was a great show today. Queen's Throne had an amazing show. She was talking about kratom,
Mhm.
and because it's not a well-known thing, but we over here in the black sector, what we like to call it, because a whole lot of nigga shit. No, I'm just kidding. Um, it's because it's mainly black people, like black people, like type of black people you want to meet at the cookout. And I think that's the real reason why it's called the black sector. It's not as big as other sectors, but our opinions matter as well. And people only seem like they want to talk about black YouTube communities when they're shedding them in a negative light. And Queen's Throne is doing an amazing job of not changing that narrative, but just shedding a little bit of light on the other side, right? Because it doesn't need that much light to be shed. And we're uh, some of these black people are being introduced to other races of people in other spaces that are doing absolutely ridiculous things. Um, and I think it's real dope. It's good to spread awareness. You know what I mean? Because I don't think it's fair for us to be stereotyped like that when we can pretty much care less about what other
Right,
people are doing.
right.
And that's obvious because we are just learning about this. Like I accidentally stumbled onto like the people on YouTube that exploit missing children. Like I accidentally stumbled onto that by uh by trolling.
Hmm.
Um like even the troll white people that like pretty much take pride in telling people to unalive themselves and they think it's all a joke and they think it's cool to be overly blasphemous and trigger people. Like that's their thing. Even those people don't exploit missing children. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think it's really cool that she's doing that. That's big sis right there, man.
Hmm.
But yeah, like I said, it's a safe space, man. We chilling. I'm trying to have many, many more of these. Hopefully, eventually, at least in this space, people could know, like, hey, man, you know, preach, going let me come up there and talk my shit. You know what I mean? And then it might even be some situations where I won't be able to show stuff on YouTube, but that's what the StreamYard's backyard is for. So if we get some wacky ideas, if somebody want to watch something or just lay back, hey man, I created a YouTube, created a couple of different Instagram groups. One of them was the Backyardigans. It was me, Naomi China D, shout out to her pretty ass. Um, Jeanette, Miranda, your boy 420. Yeah, we all kind of clicked up all the time. Talk about many different things. Watch other content creators discuss stuff. Talk about, teach each other how to use certain things on YouTube. We still do that. You see, the group's a little bit smaller, but we watch a lot of movies. I mean, a lot of movies. So that's a possibility. Um, I do have capabilities of showing like movies, TV shows, whatever. Um, yeah, so that's a possibility too, man. Because what's the use of a safe space if you can't kick it, behind the scenes without worrying about somebody like recording your conversations and being a fucking weirdo and just being the typical YouTube piece of shit. Um,
Exactly.
you know, and we have hours and hours and hours and hours and days of conversations that prove that nobody in our little close circle is playing games like that. So you ain't got to worry about that, man. When I say it's safe space, it's safe space. Um, and we do a pretty good job of communicating. So if someone does decide they want to play like that, they'll be quickly identified. I mean, it's not hard to tell. It's really
Hmm.
not hard to catch on to some shit like that. But I'm not even looking at the negative part. I'm just looking at the positive things that can come from this. Because, like I said before, a large part of the recovery is actually serving people. So if this is my little first way of serving, um, and it keeps liquor out of my liver. Um, oh yeah, and another thing I learned from AA, I learned a lot of things about what liquor does. Liquor actually uh, gets stored in your lungs. So you could have not drank for 24, 48 hours, or you drank the night before. You thought because you got a couple hours of sleep, took a shower, and chewed some gum, you're good. No, when you talk, it'll come up out of your lungs,
Hmm.
depending on if you drink an excessive amount. And if you're an actual alcoholic, you definitely drink an excessive amount. More, 9 times out of 10, you did. 9 times out of 10, you started early, like right when you got off work, if you weren't already drinking at work. Because if we're just going to be real about it, it was points in time where I didn't give a damn. It got to the point where me and the homie, we would get bottles of liquor on lunch break, get hammered in the car, and then go back to work like model citizen employees, acting like people didn't know we was toasted.
Hey, you know what? I accidentally drunk drive one time. Drunk drove.
Accidentally, I've done this shit on purpose.
No, like this time. It was back in the day when I'd go to the club and I went out at night. And the next morning I got up and I was like full of energy, didn't feel like anything was wrong. So I grabbed some water and I went to Walmart.
Hmm.
And by the time I got to Walmart, I was drunk again.
Um. Okay. Okay. No, that's not strange because you're not a heavy drinker, right?
No.
All
So
right. So you
I
drank
did
the
not,
night. Did you
I
eat
did,
the night
I
that
didn't
night?
know that that could happen. I didn't know
Yeah.
that could happen. And then I told my brother, and he's like, "You're stupid." Because he told me most of the drunk drivers that they catch are in the morning and not even actually at night.
Yep.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. No. No. You're not stupid. Um. There have been times where I woke up feeling great, like you said. Woke up feeling good, and not until I fully woke up did I realize I'm still like hammered right now. Like I'm still drunk.
Hmm.
And because you might not realize it, because especially if you're not used to drinking like that on a regular basis, you might not think it's drunk. You might think, oh, it's just early. My brain's adjusting. I'll start feeling like a real human after I get some coffee in me or finish this water bottle or get to walking around and interacting with people. Because that's usually how people are in the morning. It's like, okay, leave me the hell alone. Um, let me wake up. Don't
Right.
talk to me. Let me get the crust out my eyes before you start worrying me. Let me become a human type thing.
Hmm.
And that feels a lot like being hungover. And yeah, there have been being at work after staying up all night drinking and trying to stay awake is like it's like fighting Mike Tyson, bro. Because every 5 seconds you're gonna feel like you about to get knocked out. Let me see. Otis said, "Tell me about it. I'm on H and HSI. I'm on HSI. Does that say HSI rep or H and I rep?"
I can't see it.
Otis is in the comments. He said, "Tell me about it. I'm on H and I rep."
Hmm.
Can you explain what that is, Otis? That sounds like some kind of organization, maybe, or is that? Are you saying is that what you do? Like you're at H and I rep, and if so, like what is the H and I rep? I don't know. I never heard of that. Like I said, man, I was only 12 days sober, and for those 12 for those 12 days, that's when I discovered like AA in these spaces, and these people. But yeah, man, and it's not gonna just be about alcohol. I mean, I'm talking about anything. Even if you
Hmm.
don't, it's not even just about substances. It's about, hey, man, um, further into this video game, brother. Okay, okay, all right. But yeah, yeah, it's not just about that, man. Anybody that feels away, you see what I'm saying? I'm gonna try to make this a space. Don't ever feel like it's boxed in and you got to talk about a certain thing. Man, look, if something bothering you, dog, nigga, I was paying for therapy. That shit was $350 a month. I couldn't afford that. You know what I mean? uh,
Wow.
you know, yeah, therapy is very expensive without insurance. H&I stands for hospital and institutions. Okay, so yeah, so you're real close to it. You see the people that come in and out. You see their states, how they live, the recovery process. Hey man, I appreciate you people like you, man.
Preach, how do they have you selling insurance, but they don't give you insurance?
That's a real good question. Insurance companies are fucking greedy. That's why. Some companies don't even offer it.
Wow.
It says we bring the AA message to those that can't get to a meeting, right? And because of the pandemic, I actually found this website that I really don't want to promote on YouTube because I've already seen that in a few meetings people like try to porn bomb the AA meetings and the Zoom calls. People are really weird. I knew that people did that on other Zooms, but I thought it was like business meetings. Look, to each his own. Some people could care less, and they're just, but so yeah, it's probably not something that I'll openly promote. But I did find a place where there are constant Zoom meetings, so I can pretty much join one at any time of the day. Yeah, I know it is interesting that people will try to porn bomb a recovery Zoom meeting. That is very interesting. Like, how does your brain work like that? But yeah, like I said, I appreciate people like you, man. Um,
That's
definitely
funny.
appreciate people like you. But yeah, had it not been for the Zoom meetings, I probably would have prolonged even having a meeting in general. Um, I reached out to a couple different people. Um, I still got to get a sponsor. See, I think that was my problem before. If I would have had a sponsor, then I would have been able to like call or text somebody like, "Hey, I really feel like drinking. XYZ happened," and nine times out of 10, sponsors are pretty good. Like people go through a lot of sponsors to find the right one for them because not everyone is gonna mesh well with everybody. Just because you're recovering doesn't mean everybody's all hunky dory. Like we're still real people with real issues, you know, in life. But at least they'll be able to say, "Hey, listen, man, I'm XYZ years or whatever sober. Like I felt that before XYZ. Do this or go to a meeting." You know what I mean? Like if I would have called a sponsor or had one already, I probably would have avoided going back to the bottle. But that's okay, man. 2020 is hindsight. He said I almost died twice from what I call fermented bacterial piss. Vodka was my doc. Hey, dude, I really appreciate you saying that. You just gave me a new term, and I love it. Fermented bacterial piss. I think they should continue Zoom meetings, AA meetings. That's a great idea. Yeah, it is. And like the website I found, man, right now at 3 or whatever time zone you're in, 12, 3:30, whatever, there's at least 12 meetings happening right now. There's a meeting every hour on the hour. No, it is what it is, bro. It is what it is, and that's I don't think I've ever heard anyone like really describe what alcohol really is on like on like a real level. Now, Otis, at any point in time, if you want to share, bro, about that experience, go ahead, feel free, dog. Drug of choice, doc. It was your doc, see, Otis is doing something really interesting that I learned from a lot of sponsors in AA and people are just in recovery in general or have been for a long time. They start they use um, different terminologies so they can rewire their brain. It's really interesting. Like I thought this 12 step shit was just like a Christian organization, and they're like, oh, go to pray to Jesus and you'll be fine. Like it is not that. Uh, you know, it's really a whole lot of research. If I'm wrong, Otis, let me know. But AA started in like 1986. A dude named Doc something. But so correct me if I'm wrong, man. Like I said, I ain't been in it for that long. But yeah, they'll rewire their brain by switching up terminology from what it once was and giving it a more accurate description. And he says no, it's really anything to give you hope. Right. Exactly. So yeah, he's on point with it. Um, oh hell yeah, man! Throw that StreamYard in there. You never know. Out of these three people, somebody might be itching to, you know, become more of a participant in the safe space. But people just watching and listening. If you liked it, cool. Share it, cool. I think the most important thing is just being there. I got to work on that too, being present, because a whole lot of drinking is so that you can make yourself small, right? Um, but a lot of people drink so they can feel big, like you said before, so they can feel accepted, so they can feel like they can dance now. They can feel like they can have that conversation with that chick because the anxiety's gone, right? Um, but really, you're drinking to make yourself small, you know, uh, and not be present. It's funny the way that works. They say alcohol is subtle, very, very subtle in its approach. Um, but oh yeah, like I was saying, a lot of people, like veteran AA people, they do a lot of rewording of things and giving things different terminologies to be more of an accurate depiction of what they really are to them. And for him to call it fermented bacterial piss, that shit right there. You know what, Otis? I'm gonna dedicate the next safe space to you, dog. I am going to fucking excuse my language. I'm sorry, guys. Um, I am going to put that in my next title. Fermented bacterial piss. I like that. I really like that. Because for real, to an alcoholic, that's all it is. You know, it's already poisonous. You drink it in excess, and then your body overly produces bacteria that, you know, can give you ulcers and like literally rip your intestines to shreds. And I don't even want to talk about what happens when it comes out the other end. It's like eating Carolina Reapers all day, and don't let nothing be on your stomach because the bile is the only thing that's going to come out. And what happens when straight up acid is just leaving your body like that? It um it inflames the tissues in your ass for real. That's how a lot of people get hemorrhoids. If you never had a hemorrhoid, it's a gland that swells. So now you have diarrhea. The diarrhea. Wait, no, you have extra acid in your stomach. There's nothing on your stomach, so you feel sick. You're either gonna vomit it. It's gonna taste disgusting and hurt your throat, or you're gonna use the bathroom and it's gonna come out, right? And then you'll have diarrhea. That's not gonna go away for a few days. It's just not. If you're a real heavy drinker, it's not. That bile is gonna tear your shit up until it's out of your system. Like you're gonna have to drink like a whole loaf of bread. You know what I mean? Drink some high end fiber. You know, or it's just gonna completely destroy you on both ends. Like people don't talk about that. You know, everybody want to swing the bottles in the club, right? Nobody ever like to talk about what happened in that bathroom after the next day. So now you have you your stomach's fucked up. You're sick. Um, whatever else is going on, it probably negatively affected that too. Um, you can't think straight. It's very possible you have a headache. I said drink a loaf of bread. I did not say drink a loaf of bread. That is so funny. You want to eat? I said drink a goddamn. But yeah, man. So you're hungover. Your stomach's killing you. Your ass hurt. You can't sit down. Goddamn. Oh man, my bad. Damn it. I promise I'm not drinking, y'all. I promise I'm not drinking. Um, what was I saying? Yeah, so you're hungover. You feel like crap. If you're like me, it's gonna trigger your depression or anxiety. So if you're feeling lonely before, you feel even more lonely now. And don't don't let you be broke too, right? If you spend all your money on liquor, you feel like that, so you feel even more depressed. And so now your stomach's fucked up, your head hurts, and that's not even talking about the dumb shit you might have did while you were drunk. So now you're thinking about the repercussions of that. You have a hangover, you're broke, you don't have any more liquor to try to make yourself feel better, right? Because you're broke. So your body's physically trashed. Um, you got to deal with whatever repercussions come from how the liquor actually affects your real life, right? Whether it's a job, a relationship, um, DUIs, you're violent, so you got to deal with that. You feel like shit. You feel depressed. Um, and you're broke. So, you know, and you know what the funniest thing is? As soon as your stomach starts to feel better, as soon as your body heals itself for just a split second, if you're a real alcoholic like me, you're gonna go right back to the liquor store. And if you only got a little bit of money, I'm gonna get the cheaper liquor, and don't let me have a lot of money. Not only am I gonna get a lot of liquor, I'm gonna get the expensive stuff, and I'm gonna go right back at it again. I'm gonna drink just as fast. I'm gonna drink just as much. I might drink more than I did last time because hey, maybe
Hey,
maybe it didn't work.
do you like
Maybe.
do you like chocolate?
I actually do not eat sweets, and I think part of the reason why is because when I was younger, I had a cavity,
Hmm.
and I'm just straight up say it. I was neglected as a child, so I didn't have insurance. I wasn't taken to the dentist or the doctor. You know what I mean? None of that. So I had to like my cavity just ate through my gums for like a 2 months until
Hmm.
just brushing my teeth kind of healed it, but it's still a hole there because it was never properly treated. So now there's a gap in my molar.
So here's
So
a fun fact.
I don't like sweets. I don't like sweets.
So chocolates contain a variety of alkaloids linked to alcoholism. So by eating chocolate, people with alcoholism can get the same substances from chocolate without the side effects.
Huh? Do you do you think it's because it's a lot of sugar?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's almost like you get a little bit of a buzz and it's very similar, but
But,
without the alcohol part. I got it. I got
but
it.
like how people talk about like chocolate addiction, it's real.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. I did, and chocolate is a natural aphrodisiac. The cocoa, what is it? The cocoa seed or leaf? Is it a seed or a leaf? I'm not sure, but
It's
yeah,
a
the cocoa is
I
very
think
expensive. It's like gold, right, or some shit like that.
I think it's like the same as a coffee. It's a bean.
Yeah, there we go. A bean.
Coffee
Okay.
bean.
Okay, so Queen's Throne says something. Said I don't drink often, but since my king started working in the liquor industry, I have drank a little more. I hate the taste, but after a few, you don't taste it as much. Then I continue. You know what? It was a point in time where I thought liquor was the most disgusting thing on the planet, but I also realized very quickly that after like the first beer or the second shot, yeah, you don't really taste it as much. You kind of keep on trucking, you know. Like I said, liquor is a very, very, very subtle beast. Um, Till the bottle gone, I recently told him I'm definitely slowing down and haven't drank since that was last week. You see, and that's really, really, really good because um, I don't know if you could like develop alcoholism, but I know that you can like um, I think you can develop alcoholism, but I think some people are just equipped a little different to handle it based on like how their chemical makeup is and how their brain works. Um, the fact the fact that you can kind of like step away, like all right, nah, you know, that's awesome. That's a blessing. See me, it's all about acknowledging that it's not as easy for me to step away because, like I keep saying, I've developed so many poor habits about, like he said, liquor was my doc, self-medicating, my drug of choice, that bacterial piss, you know, and I loved every minute of it. You know, I wanna assume that it's like other substances. The only difference is maybe the withdrawals and the and the way it's consumed. Uh, but my bad. I'm not even tired. I'm just yawning because I just woke up. What up, Lawrence? How you doing, brother? Thank you for supporting the channel. Um, this is supposed to be a safe space, right? So just want to make sure that people know that I'm just not up here talking. If you choose to come up, cool. If not, cool. You know, um, uh, I just know that when there's spaces like this, like later at night when I can't sleep, and I know there's at least one or two people that's pretty chill, and if I felt like I could jump on the panel, I could probably give me something to listen to, kick back, whatever. So I'm just trying to be that for people, and so if just one person gets their mind off not being okay, I think that's a win. Let me see here. I feel like I don't. I would love gotten addicted. Would have gotten addicted. I'm scared to be addicted to anything. Right. I love weed, but I'm not addicted. It don't have. You know what? That's another conversation with AA and recovery. Most sponsors and most um, like veteran AA people that have been in the game for a while, they they recommend that you stop drinking and smoking because any type of mind altering substance, because you're an alcoholic, you're gonna use the weed and say, "Oh, it's not as bad," but you still need something to alter your state of mind. And if you're a true alcoholic or have chemical imbalances, it's not going to take long of being high before you're like, this isn't the exact feeling of being drunk. And yeah, it's not that bad. I'm drinking more weed. I mean, I'm drinking more weed. I'm smoking more weed. I'm not drinking. So, because I'm smoking weed, I'll just get cross-faded, right? And I won't drink as much, which is not true. It's just another excuse, some people would give themselves to just get fucked up again. Um, so for me, I think I'm gonna have to abstain. I think it's best for me to abstain from both of them because that's what I was doing for the 12 days. I wasn't smoking no weed and I wasn't drinking. Um, but like I said, man, it took me having to restart to realize like how serious this is and how easy it isn't. You know what I'm saying? Um, and if anybody's wondering, no, I'm not drunk right now. Um, it's been 24 hours. uh, don't mix. Let me see. It says don't mix it with benzos unless you want to die. Okay, that's a little graphic. Uh, but I appreciate the insight. Definitely appreciate the insight. Now I don't know what benzos is. I've never heard of it. Like I said, I've always was always afraid of pills, and being that I drink so heavy, and most of the people around me knew that I drank so heavy, like they would never suggest, "Oh, why don't you just pop a Molly?" Or I had one person in my entire life suggest that I pop a Molly because I drink so much, and they were like, "Bro, it's a pill that'll make you feel exact same way." And I fucking lie to you not. The second speaker I heard on this playlist said the exact same story. And he was like, this dude came up to me and told me, "Hey, did you know a pill could make you feel drunk and not have all the negative side effects of drinking?" And he was like, "Oh, well, I could just substitute it, right? And still have this, and still be able to alter my mind without it having all the negative effects of drinking, right?" So this dude that's been sober for 10 years, he's telling the story, and he's like, "Bro," he's like, "I popped one of those pills. I got addicted. Um, it only took about 2 weeks until I thought it was a good idea, right, to start drinking again because I got addicted." 'Cause I got addicted.
So
Like,
benzos are like Xanax.
that's what he's saying. Yeah, the
Yeah.
Zanny bars. I'll always smoke weed. I have ADHD and bipolar. I can't. Big pharma meds. Adderall is a, yeah, form of, okay. And so most of its alternatives, we works with my disorders perfectly. No, exactly. Everybody's chemical makeup is different. That's why I'm learning from AA as well. They talk about that a lot. They talk about how alcoholics are different because we'll take a drink, and we'll want to push it, and almost try to get higher levels of drunk each time. But not everyone's like that. I was talking to my boy today, and I'm like, for example, I was like, if we go to the bar right now, right, and we have a Corona, you're gonna be able to have that Corona. You might have a second one if we're eating or watching the game or something, but you're gonna order a Corona. I'll probably get us the first two drinks, but then before you're done with your first one, I'm gonna be on my second one and already ordering a shot. I'm gonna take the shot. I'm gonna chase it with the Corona. I'm gonna finish the Corona. I'm gonna order another shot. Depending on how I feel right there, I might nurse it. But chances are I'm gonna down it, chase it with the Corona. I'm gonna get another Corona because by that time the second one's probably already done. So when you're on the middle of your second one, I've drank two Coronas and I've taken two shots. And this is probably gonna be in the course of like 20 minutes. Well, I'm exaggerating. 25. If we're watching the game talking shit, it's gonna be 20, 25 minutes. Um, but just know I'm not done yet because I still need a drink in front of me. Because it's not just about being drunk; it's being as drunk as possible, maintaining that level of intoxication, making sure that I hit that level of intoxication and I stay there because that's where I want to be. That's where I'm comfortable. I want to be there. I don't want to be sober. I don't give a shit what comes with it. I don't care if I get a little dizzy, a little woozy, or I feel like I'm about to pass out and fall asleep. I don't care. I'm drunk. That was the goal. Your goal is to have a good time. My goal is to get shit face hammered. So you're going to the bar mostly to watch the game, maybe have some wings, hopefully run into a chick, right? I kind of want those things too. But ultimately, I'm trying to get shit faced. Because if I'm not shit faced, I'm not happy. Because I don't know how to be happy sober. These are all things that I had to admit to myself. And it's not, oh, preacher ain't never happy if he's sober. That's not true. I'm actually happier when I'm sober. I just didn't know that until I stopped drinking for real and acknowledging that I had an issue and looking at liquor for what it was. Using finally, right? So
Well, because alcohol is a depressant.
it is a depressant.
So if
Exactly.
you're depressed and you're doing something that's making you more depressed, then it doesn't
Exactly.
make sense.
And I'm telling you right now, I was binge drinking up until Monday. I was binge drinking up until Monday afternoon. And that bile I was telling y'all about, I binge drank so much and I ate so little. I could feel something in like the pit of my chest. I know if I throw up, it's going to be bile. I don't feel like I'm a projectile vomit, but it'll sit. Like liquor will fester inside of you. People think, oh, I'm pissing it out. It's going through my liver. No, once it starts overproducing those acids, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. And I also used to think, oh, I'm drinking a whole lot of water. I'm drinking a whole lot of water. I'm not gonna get hungover. So once I learned how to beat hangovers, they couldn't tell me shit. Because I hated hangovers. That's the one thing that gets people to stop drinking. That first hangover where their head is like pulsating, their body feels like shit. They don't want to get out of bed. You're tired as hell. Most people are like, man, I'm never drinking again. I know people see that. I'm never drinking again. People that aren't alcoholics can actually say that and mean it and have no problem with completely not having it as a part of their life because they they have other things that make them okay without it. For a long time, I was not okay without it. So when I say I'm not okay, I'm not saying I'm not okay because I want to drink. I'm not okay because I just been binge drinking for the past 5 days. That's why I'm not okay. It's not because I don't have liquor, because I can go get some liquor. Actually, right now we have liquor stores open 24/7 down here in Florida. So that's not the issue. I have access, but I'm not okay because while I was drinking, I was okay. Then, as soon as I got sober, reality comes right back. Everything is still the same. Nothing's positively affected. You see what I'm saying? And on top of that, it done. It's a depressant, so it's still depressing me while I'm no longer intoxicated. So it's a subtle thing. It'll trick you into believing that you're sad because you don't have the liquor in your system, but in reality, it's so much liquor still in your system. You just don't get the benefit of being drunk. Um,
Mhm.
uh, it's very subtle. It's very subtle. I believe you definitely is looking back, and it was a bad idea. Yeah, man. Listening to these older people, older guys. These guys have that haven't touched a drink or a substance. Wait a minute, I got porn bombed last time, so I gotta be careful. Somebody told me I gotta be careful.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh no, the thing's up there. Sterling, hello.
Hey, what's up? Thanks for having me.
Well, it's not an issue, man. Are you okay?
Oh yeah, I'm good.
That's good, man.
And I'm gonna keep all my clothes on, so you don't have to worry.
Oh no, no, no. I don't mind people getting naked. Just don't do it on my live.
I get it.
Hmm.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about that. But I get
All
it.
right, cool, cool. So, I don't think you've ever been on my platform before. Introduce yourself, man.
Oh well, thank you. Like I said, my name is Sterling. Thanks for having me. I um I actually just searched Open Panel
Yeah,
and, and I changed my search filter to live. So yeah, that's how I found you.
that's what's up. I do that a lot too because I've had a lot of these nights where I'm like, damn, please let one person, that because I'd be trying to get my mind off shit because like insomnia, bitch. Um, and like I was saying, man, yeah, this is supposed to be a safe space. You know what I mean? It's not any kind of specific particular topic. It's just like, are you okay? It's a simple question. You know, you can pretty much talk about whatever you want. You ain't got to reveal your whole life or nothing like that. But I was just telling people, I recently accepted that I'm an alcoholic for real, and I'm actually trying to take certain steps. You know what I mean? And because like I said before, some people think it's not okay to not be okay. You see what I'm saying? And that does more harm than good. Um, does way more harm than good. Do you know anybody that like suffers from substance abuse? Not even just substances, man. Just really, really bad habits that like fuck their life up, and they just keep going back to it.
Oh yeah. And when I heard what y'all are talking about, I clicked the link right away. I'm really interested in this topic. So
Yeah. And like I was saying before, I really, really don't want this to be an exploitation thing. Um, people that are in recovery or people that are just trying to fix bad habits in their life. Uh, it really irks me that people on the internet like to exploit that because they know it's a lot of people out there who are desperate for like someone to talk to or someone to understand them. Like, I don't think that's real cool. But I do a pretty good job of holding down my panels and keeping my channel a certain way as far as the traffic, and who comes and who goes. So really this is just gonna be a space where it's like, hey, you wanna talk about how Stacy left you for Brad in high school and that shit sucked, or you know what I mean? It don't matter. You know what I mean? Even if you are okay, just come up and chill anyway. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, well, I appreciate you. I don't mean to interrupt, but I can tell you about to answer your question about a loved one who's struggling or was recently.
Awesome, awesome, man.
All right, well, thank you. And yeah, I haven't told this story but like once or twice. So Forgive me if I'm a little bit scrambled and it takes me a minute, but yeah,
No, you
like
good, man. We understanding over here. You good, man.
yeah, my brother had a problem. He had an addiction, and well, I'll skip to the end. He got out, and he has 75 days clean right now, clean and sober.
That's fucking awesome, man.
Yeah,
I want to talk about the most days I've had clean, but uh, AA is like, hey, man, if it's 24 hours, it's 24 hours, bro. you know,
yeah.
like don't feel bad about having a whole bunch of brand new 24 hours. So yeah, I got 24 hours, 75 days. That's fucking awesome. What was his doc, so to speak, his drug of choice?
It was heroin.
Wow, man, that's a tough
Yeah,
one, man.
yeah,
That's
and he was, I think, and you know, he was drinking and I think probably doing coke to stay up.
the downers, the opiates,
Sure.
the uppers and the downers. It keeps you in a perpetual state. That see that's a whole nother level, man. you know, and so is he your older brother or younger brother?
Yeah, it's my older brother, and which you know makes it more difficult. Man, gosh, I didn't expect to go into all this, but
It's cool, man. Ain't
yeah.
nobody, ain't nobody gonna judge you up here, bro. We all fucking broken and shit. You know.
uh, thank, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm gonna fit in real nice.
Of course, yeah. Long as you keep your clothes on, we're fine.
Yeah, don't worry, don't worry. Nobody wants to see that. Um, no, but what I wanted to say is several things. He told I didn't know this until just this past week when we got lunch, but he told me he was spending $400 a day.
Oh yeah. Yep. hmm
For
That
$400 a day.
what I think a lot of people that choose to recover, there's a turning point, and I learned what recovery is like. No, if you try to recover off the strength of anything else but care, like loving yourself and wanting better for yourself and like doing it for you,
Mhm.
like when you come to that space of hardship, like let's say it's a woman, right, and that's your motivation. What happens if she leaves?
Mhm.
Let's say if it's the new job, right? What happens if you lose it? So it has to be internal. Like, what was his thing? Did he ever open up to you about like why he was just like, nah, this has got to stop?
Did he open up about what? Which part? I'm sorry.
Did he open up about what was the turning point for him to
Well,
say, I'm getting away from this?
that's a good question. Well, I would say about let's see about let's see. He's got 75 days clean. I'd say about 85, 90 days ago we had a family reunion. Okay,
Mm.
and long story short, he was nodding off at the family reunion, and you know what I mean. Like he was always like real sweaty and withdrawn. Didn't have conversation with this. He was always walking away. You know what I mean? Like everybody knew what was going on, sort of. You know what I mean?
Okay, okay, yeah, that's why that family reunion probably saved his life for real because he was probably embarrassed
Yeah,
and
that's what
ashamed.
that's what I was going to tell you. And he does. He prides himself on like keeping secrets and like keeping it all bottled up. You know. But at his family reunion, like I said, he was like nodding off, and everybody saw it. And I confronted him at the at the family reunion, and like when he was nodding off, I kicked his foot and like made him wake up. You know.
Yeah, I have a big brother too, and I know what it's like to look up to someone and
Hmm.
have them disappoint you like that. Yeah, that sucks, man.
Yeah, and it's really
It,
hard to
it
call
doesn't
him out.
suck because 75 days later, but yeah, that in that moment, yeah, I get that.
Yeah, in that moment it was hard, and you know what I mean. I'm not trying to brag or pat myself on the back, but like, um, I looked around and there was a lot of people who saw what was going on, but I could tell they weren't really going to do anything about it. You know what I mean?
No, that's a fact. That's a fact. You know, uh, and Man, like in that moment at a family reunion, like that kick, I mean, yeah, you don't want to sit here and say, "Oh, I'm the reason for this or that," but it could have been anyone in the family, probably. What I mean, it could have been a little kid tugging on him, like, "Oh, uncle, what's wrong?" And that could have been it. It's just you took initiative, and had you not, it might have not panned out that way. So yeah, yeah, you're definitely not taking credit for it, but you were
Yeah,
showing love. Like you could have just sat back and be like,
and
whatever.
everybody else was, what I mean. And I kicked his foot just to get him up, and he walked to the bathroom, and he stayed there for like 20, 30 minutes. And I talked to a couple of my sisters, and I was like, "Hey, look, man, this is too much. This has got to stop." You know what I mean? And they were like, "Yeah, yeah, but we don't know what to do." And da, 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 da. And I could tell right then and there, like it was up to me. You know what I mean?
Right? Yeah.
I just walked off, and I walked towards him to that bathroom. And he was walking out when I walked up there, and I said, "Hey, bro," I said, "You know why I'm here?" And he said, "To use the bathroom." And I was like, "Nah." And he knew right then and there what was up, you know. And
Yeah.
that's what I told him, and that's when I confronted him. I only had him for like maybe like 20 or 30 seconds before we walked over back to where everybody was at, you know.
Yeah.
So I had to just spill it all out because I only had like 20 seconds. And so I just told him what was up. I didn't even ask questions or have him respond, you know. I was just
Yeah.
like, and I didn't read a book. I should have Googled it first, but I didn't know what to say. And I might have said some things wrong or some things right. I don't even know. But I was just like, bro, this is enough. It's enough. You're nodding off in front of our nephews. You're missing out on everything. We want you back. Like, this is enough,
Yeah. Yeah.
And
That's
anyway,
fire. like, like I'm not trying to cut you off, but you don't really need to read a book to be genuine. And if it's coming from a real place, he probably felt that, like, damn, you're right, man. Like, because you say he takes pride in holding things in. Like, he
oh,
didn't know it was okay to not be okay. So instead of telling someone he wasn't okay for whatever reason, right? Which men do this all the time. It's a lot of women that go online and they're like, why won't y'all go to the doctor until you about to die?
right,
Because it's a pride thing. For one,
definitely,
we don't want no grown man or no person in general lubing their fucking hand and putting their shit up our butt talking about they gonna check something. We don't want to be all examined over and be told that we're not in tip top shape. It negatively can affect our ego, so we avoid shit like that at all costs. Like I was saying before, like in my alcoholism, it got really, 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 really bad. I
hmm
had ulcers. I vomited blood before.
hmm
Um, I made it home from the club one night and my car had like front end damage and I didn't know where it came from. When
damn,
I tell you that was the most nerve wracking 48 hours of my life, because I
sure,
thought the police were going to come and pick me up from my house because I'd hurt somebody. So, uh, that wasn't even enough to get, well, it was enough to get me to stop from drinking and driving because that shit was scary as hell. But, like, yeah, man, like you don't gotta read a book to say what you said like that. You see what I'm saying? And like I said, he didn't know it was okay to not to be okay. And maybe, just maybe, his little brother coming up to him and not like harshly judging him or calling him a piece of shit or getting all mad and just saying, "Bro, we see this. Like you don't think we see this, but we see this."
right. And that's what I told him. I was
Yeah,
like, for somebody who prides themselves on keeping it all in and not letting people in, I said, everybody sees what you're doing. I was like, this has got to a point where you can't hide it anymore.
facts. It's a fact.
I mean, it was the facts. And so, but man, it was hard, man, especially when it's your older brother. He's like 8 or 9 years older than I am. And
Yep.
he's smarter than I am, funnier than I am, like for real. Like when somebody's smarter than you, that's intimidating. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
when you know for a fact that they're just smarter than you and they could eat you up for lunch.
Right.
You know what I mean? How do you confront that person, you know, with logic and reason? You know what I mean? Like, of course, you're gonna be guarded and scared. It was scary. I ain't gonna lie.
Listen, one of the hardest conversations I have ever had to have was with my big brother. He did something that I felt like disappointed me, and it took a lot. But I was real mad at him. You know what I mean? I was mad. You know, my brother, he's fucking 6'7". He's not a small guy. I'm a regular size person. I'm like 6'1". You know, and my brother, I'm not even gonna lie, my brother got a couple years on me too. I want to say 10. He got like 10 years on me, and he's smart as a whip. He was an athlete, basketball player, athlete. I was a little shorter, stocky, so I was a football guy. But you know, he was a high school basketball star, all kind of shit. So pretty much same thing, man. He like super talented dude, older than me, big bro, but he happened to do something that it hurt me on a different level. So when I said what I said it angrily. Like I didn't say it how like you did it. I think his shit was way more healthier than mine. I threatened to fight the nigga. I was mad. I was drinking. I was drinking too. I thought I was thinking about it. I'm sitting in my car. I'm living in my car at the time, and it had to do with some money, so I was real hot. You know what I mean? I'm real mad. Um, you know, family business. Family people die. Money don't go certain places, and it goes other places, and then people get divided. It happens all the time.
Mhm.
Um, but I thought he did some foul shit, so I was real upset, and I was angry. I was drunk. I was mad, and you know, it wasn't a healthy. It wasn't healthy the way I did it. There's a whole way too much emotion, but it took a lot to even just get mad at him. You know, I had to sit on the just the scenario and the situation for like at least a month and a half before I even started getting upset, and I didn't get upset until I asked him a simple question, and he um I feel like he accused me of like being disloyal or something, and my brain like went somewhere different because I'm like, dude, I look up to you, man.
Uh-huh.
Like me and little sis, we used to watch your kids for free. While like all summer, while you and your wife go on dates and stuff, we used our summer, no problem. Like we're supposed to be family. Like I'm asking you a simple question. I was upset, you know, and
Uh-huh.
you know, so it was nasty, you know, but I let the shit out, and I'm like, to this day, we're good, but we're men, and you know, I don't know how you are with your big brother, but me and my brother are similar. We have tempers.
Uh-huh.
Uh, we have tempers, and we deal like we the communication isn't the strongest point in our family, like talking things out, you know. But I wasn't in therapy then, um, and so I've definitely learned other tools to cope and things like that. And now I'm on the side of the recovery side. Um, it it's real tough to to you know, because I didn't want my perspective of him to change because I knew he was like not the person I thought he was. But I'm like, you know, it's like you're angry at me because I'm disappointed, and that's not fair. Like imagine if your brother would have been like, "Fuck you, dude. You don't understand." Like you would have been like, "Fuck," you know what I mean? Like, damn. So no, I feel you, bro. That takes a lot, man. That takes a lot, man. You probably saved his life, bro. So that's what's up, man. Need people like that in your life, man. And I had people, one or two people like that in my life, and so it was a couple turning points like that for me that made me really evaluate what the fuck was going on. But most recently, I would say for the first time, my motivation is from me for me. Most of the time, I will always look for excuse me, outside external motivations outside of just doing it for me because I didn't realize at the time that I really didn't like myself, right? Because being sober for an alcoholic, um, it feels like boredom, but in reality, it's uncomfortability with sobriety because your comfortability comes from um, being intoxicated. Because in every social situation, since you're young, if you can get access to something that releases your inhibitions, and it makes you feel like you're a confident person when you don't feel normally confident, or it lowers your anxiety when you normally are anxious, right? Then it becomes I don't know, the self-medicating thing. And that mixed with, well, like you said before, holding stuff in, not letting nobody feel how you feeling, and feeling like that's the best solution. um I don't care what substance it is, but it's all pretty similar about why people use, why it's hard for people to stop. And with men, I've noticed men in AA, 9 times out of 10, they're masking something. You know what I mean? They're masking something, or trying to fill a void. Or just self-medicating and suffering in silence. Um, Look, if I gotta fucking do this every day and let people know, like, hey, bro, stop suffering in silence, bro. Depending on what substance it is, if you use it too much, or whatever habit you've developed of coping that's negative, if you do it too much, it's probably going to hurt you or someone around you. Guaranteed. If you do it in excess. Um. So yeah, I'm not an expert, man. I'm 24 hours in, but I'm also optimistic. You see what I'm saying? And I also believe in following the methods that work. I'm gonna if I want to win a Super Bowl, I'm probably gonna listen to Bill Belichick before I listen to Gordon Ramsay. So just like if I want to make a beef Wellington, I'm probably gonna listen to Gordon instead of Bill Belichick. They're two phenomenal people in their spaces, but completely useless on a on a different plane, right? So I don't know. They talk about these steps, and they talk about working the program, and they talk about going to these meetings. And at first, to me, it was like, you know, I just thought it was a whole bunch of, like I said before, like kumbaya, Christian club type. If somebody's gonna eventually start browbeating me with the word of God and asking me, why I haven't accepted something into my heart. I thought it was gonna be a whole bunch of that. Um, I was completely wrong. 95% of it is understanding yourself and rewiring your brain so you can have more of not only a positive outlook, but seeing life sober, and being able to properly contrast between a sober life where you can actually function and be productive, compared to you just maintaining with a fucking pint of liquor in your stomach and a whole bunch of fucking negative self-talk in your brain. You know what I mean? But anyway, I don't want to start rambling. I mean, but yeah,
Well,
if there's a continuation to the story, if somebody else wants to say something, go ahead. Feel free to jump in. Like,
preacher, I'm gonna jump down. But
no
okay.
problem.
All right.
No problems in that.
Sorry, I hope I didn't hijack your panel.
Absolutely not. Jeanette was talking about going to sleep an hour and a half
And
ago.
I put her right there.
Right. Yeah. You might have helped her with her insomnia, man. Sterling. I'm obviously you don't want to put your real name on YouTube, but do you have a channel? Because we support people.
Oh no, I don't have a channel, but I appreciate yours.
All right, cool. So yeah, I was cool with just being a subscriber for a long time. Actually, I think Queen's Throne one day was like, "Hey, motherfucker, cut on the StreamYards, drop the link, see what the fuck happens." And I was like, "Okay." I thought I had to have like a mission statement or a plan.
Sure.
Yeah. So definitely want this to be a place where people feel like they come and chop it up. It's like I said, it's nothing in particular. Actually, if there's any, like if it was a continuation of that story, if have you noticed? Have you noticed any? Obviously 75 days of sobriety is fucking awesome.
Mhm.
Um, what are the like positive, clear changes that have happened from that day to like today?
Well, what I would say is that like he's been in rehab before, right? And he went to a 6 week program, and I don't know, man. It just feels different. Like I'll tell you one thing. Like we had lunch, just me and him the other day, and he just looks different. Like physically, like he's different. Like his skin has color. He gained a little bit of weight. He got real skinny. He wasn't sweating. He would always carry around like a little towel, and he'd always be like, wiping his forehead. And it was none of that. It was none of that. He looked good. And better than that, he was, for the first time, he was talking about the future.
Mm,
And he was talking about, and I didn't even ask him, I didn't prompt him. He volunteered information like short term goals, long term goals. He talked about getting a dog, working the program. These are things like, I mean, I can't tell
blew
you.
you away.
I'm sorry.
It blew you away. It was like
It was I was blown away. Yeah, that's a great way of putting it because I know my brother really well, better than anybody, and I have never heard him talk about the future ever, ever, unless it was like, oh, yo, let's get Mexican, let's eat Mexican tomorrow. But you know what I mean? Like, and usually I'd have to bring that up, but like I know, like he's never talked about the future like that. And even when he was down and out years ago, a similar situation, I told him, I said, bro, just tell me what you want. Like, tell me what you want, and I will help you get it. You know what I mean? Like, I'll buy it, I'll steal it, I'll earn it, I'll whatever I need to do. You know what I mean? Like, just tell me. And he said, that's the problem. He said, I don't know what I want. And he just like, you know what I mean? Like, he was just hopeless, and he didn't have ambitions and desires and hope, and man, it was so sad.
no, yeah, yeah. Hey, that's fucking awesome. And hopefully he stays on that, man. And being 30 and just facing this reality by myself. Uh, hold on, let me read. AA's main benefit is keeping you focused. Yep, you're right about that, Otis. Otis. Oh yeah, this is Jeanette letting you know, man. She's just falling asleep anyway. That's why she's driving out. She was passing out. So you're good, bro. But yeah. Those 12 days, man. I was clear. Uh, I was clear. I was sharp. You know. I laughed more, and that was like the first time I was like, I'm not even really like my like I was completely off about how I felt about my level of depression and anxiety.
How?
Like for 10 years, every day I've been getting drunk.
Uh-huh.
There's maybe a few months within that decade altogether as far as just time goes. Like if it was like a video game, you could look at all the stats like GTA. I'll probably out of the 10 years, I probably have like a few months of sobriety, like no exaggeration. So that is a very high amount of times where I chose to self medicate with liquor. Um, that level of dysfunction and poor habit building kind of made me feel as though like whatever I felt like with all that liquor in my system was how I really was. Not taking into account that liquor is literally a depressant. It brings you down. It brings down your mood. It can create negative thinking, right? But I didn't care because in my mind, I'm like, well, the drinking makes me feel better. Because while I'm drunk, I don't care about shit. But as soon as I get sober, as soon as that buzz wears off, everything comes crashing down. And
Sure.
so it's like I convinced myself that Um, it wasn't the liquor doing it. It's no way it could be the liquor because I'm happy when I'm drunk. So it's no way that I'm the liquor's making me more depressed. It can't be. It's my friend, right? It's helped me through all of this. So it's no way that in a matter of hours it'll turn around and make me feel like this. The only reason I feel like this is because I'm actually depressed, right? And but see, the level of depression that liquor brings you to is much deeper than if you are if you have if you're on 4 out of 10 with depression from drinking, it'll take you from a 4 to a 9 or an 8. Like if you don't have like suicidal thoughts or think about ending it, imagine being hungover, no money. Uh, your wife took the kids to her sister's because you were being belligerent. Uh, you kept drinking and went and got a DUI. So if you're already at some kind of level of sadness or depression, and that's why you're drinking in the first place, right? So you just took that level of sadness and you made it shittier. Just like I was telling Jeanette. Like if you want to see somebody take something that's already kind of fucked up and make it real shitty, give me $10 worth of beer. I got you covered. Give me 2 4 packs of some real cheap ass shit. I can make some shit real shitty. You know what I mean? So if you've never had like um suicidal thoughts or just thinking about ending it, I mean like a level of hopelessness that I wouldn't wish on nobody. Liquor will do that. And so those 12 days, I started when my faculties like started to come back to me like they haven't done in 10 years. I don't know. My anxiety levels dropped. Um, hope started to come back. I started like planning stuff. Just in 12, like after like 4 days of being sober, when the little withdrawal symptoms started stopping, and the liquor was really leaving my system, the water was like flushing shit out, like I'm eating fruit and stuff, damn near trying to detox. By day 7, I was like, okay, I'm into the detox, just getting out of me these toxins and leaving because it does take a while for those toxins to leave, and not until those toxins leave does it stop affecting your chemical balances in your brain, which makes you feel sad, because the depressant is still there working on your brain. Um, it's like a lingering effect, right? Uh, so you know, but like after like day 7, day 8, day 9, I was feeling great. Day 10, I'm good. Day 11, I'm good. I get through the week. I'm having a great week. Get to day 12. Get to day 12, and the same thing that happened that the motherfucking AA dude, one of these speaker guys said. He said, "You know what's funny about liquor? Because they're real funny. A lot of those AA guys are real funny. They got jokes for fucking days. Um, and when someone's making a joke about your situation and they get you, it's even more funny, right? So he's like, you know what happens, guys? He's like, you stop drinking. He's like, a week later, you start feeling better. Your stomach stops hurting. Your head stops hurting. You think a little bit more clearly. You might get a job back, so now you got money. You think you got a little bit of control. So now you're getting your money back, things getting on track, you're making plans, and then next thing you know, something shitty happens. And if you started for the wrong reasons, or you didn't do the steps, or get a sponsor, you're not going to stand a chance. Because you're completely out of that depressed state. But you don't appreciate it because you think you got control over this substance that you obviously don't have control over. And then you're going to drink. And it's not going to be much separating you from drinking because you got a little bit of money now, right? You didn't do the proper steps to put things in place as to where if you reached out to somebody that has your better interest in mind, right? Because you think you got this under control. All it's going to take is a few hours maybe a bottle, maybe a few beers, and next thing you know, you're binging. And you're right back to square one.
Hmm.
It's like you're gonna lose your job again. Money get messed back up. Money get messed back up. Relationships get messed back up. People are disappointed. And then you got to go through starting over, all that good stuff. You know, and you know, so on and so forth. And I'm just
Well,
listening to this guy say this, like, oh man, this sounds, you know, I mean, I was like, okay, I get it. It makes sense, but why would I? Why would I start drinking again if I'm feeling good? That doesn't make any sense, right? Being arrogant, right?
hmm
Then lo and behold, as soon as I got a little bit upset, as soon as I got a little bit of success,
hmm
instead of saying, "Oh, things are improving because I'm stepping away from the substance that just literally finished trying to destroy my life less than 2 weeks ago," I'm gonna go right back to it.
hmm that you were in control.
Oh yeah, I was in full control, right?
Yeah, you got your life back together, and you knew what you were doing. It wasn't going to
Right,
get you this time.
right.
Yeah, I
I had
know.
the world in the palm of my hands.
Oh yeah, you smart.
Oh yeah, I'm smart. I'm smarter than this. I'm smarter than this substance, right? That took that took a good 10 years away from productivity in my life, right? Stole a couple of jobs, ended a few relationships, right? Um, oh no, but I'm in control now. So 12 days later, I'm in control now. Two really solid weeks of work, more focus. Yeah, but I got this covered. I was in the bag,
Mm, mm.
and I didn't just get a few beers.
Oh no, no, you went on that heavy stuff.
Yeah, you know what I did? I splurged a little bit because I was saving money. I saved a lot of money in those 2 weeks. It's
Hmm.
amazing. I saved a lot of money, so I was like, oh, I got a little bit more cash. I'm gonna celebrate, and I don't just when I give myself an excuse to drink, I don't just give myself an excuse to drink. I give myself. I'm happy. I'm feeling good.
Hmm.
I'm not nauseous. Everything's fine. Look, man, I'm getting some expensive stuff that's gonna taste good. I'm gonna get an amount of it that's gonna guarantee to fuck me up.
Hmm.
Right? It's not just I have a Corona and I see what happens. It's man. I bought what I brought. I bought 2 4 packs of IPA called Resin.
Yeah, I
Um,
think I've seen it once.
yeah, it's a green can, and it's 9.1 alcohol by volume. That is 3 times stronger than the average beer you'll get out the corner store. Uh, oh yeah, and I'm very well versed with malt liquors and cheap nasty shit. You ever heard of Slits? You guys want to go down the journey with me? I got a little bit of second wind. I kind of want to talk about this.
Yeah, I know Schlitz.
Yeah, because you've probably known people that dealt with substances are outside of your brother. And the one thing about his doc or drug of choice back then was, like you said, he would drink with it. And when you're abusing substances on such a high level, you are not thinking about nothing else but that next high. You're chasing the high. You got tunnel vision. So if 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 I see a fiend that's on a different type of substance, right? What I've learned is that with heroin addicts and people that do like opioids or whatever, when it comes to liquor, like they're alcoholics by default. There's only a few people that I've ever known in life that smoke crack or do heroin or anything, any one of those types of drugs, that will like refuse a beer. Because there have been crackheads around the way. Um, you know, I don't know where they would get their drugs from, but I would be often at the corner stores. So even though I have no idea where they might get their drugs from, they would be doing them often. And and it was this one time, it was this dude. He was trying to smoke some like K2 or some Flocka, or put like some Flocka in some weed, or which is Flocka is something that like is like It's not the face eating drug, the bath salt thing, but it's like this shit that's like this Chinese stuff that makes you feel like your skin's crawling and demons are attacking you and shit. It's weird, man. It's real
Yeah.
fucked up shit. Um, it's a Florida thing. So I remember one time I tried to get him like a natural ice out the corner store. So I come out the corner store, open the door, I try to hand him a beer. He's like, "No, man, let me get that." No, no, they won't do that. They'll take the beer, go into the corner store, exchange it for some money. You know what I mean? I haven't seen it a lot, but I've seen one or two people that are on heavy drugs turn down liquor. But for the most part, they're kind of alcoholics by default.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And they can drink way more because the substance that they usually use is far more mind altering. It's almost like the beer is like a water. You know, like it's like a iced tea lemonade or something. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
uh,
Yeah. No. Yeah. My brother could throw him back.
oh yeah, like nothing. Like nothing. Um, let me see here. Uh, I was listening to this. Well, I guess I'll do it on another video. Um, People still rocking with me. It's a good six people in here. Like I said, once again, man, I do this a lot. It's gonna sound repetitive and annoying, but I appreciate you guys support my channel, watching my shows. Even if you up here or not, uh, we got a little tight knit community. It's getting bigger. But yeah, I put people's comments on the stream. Your boy Sterling said he searched open panels and he found us. He
That's
kicking
cool.
back, sharing with us, and we appreciate him for that, man. You know,
Yeah. Thank you for letting me.
yeah, man. Every opinion counts, man. Because I encourage people to talk about whatever. Because eventually, well, not eventually, there's a chance that somebody's gonna relate and be like, man, I'm not the only one. Because I'm not a doctor or anything. Like I'm barely recovering. I'm only 24 hours in, So,
Well,
but I think it's good to tell personal stories because it's a lot of people, man. I was one of the people, man, that was like, bro, it's nobody in the world like me, dog. Like I am
mhm.
on this. It's me against the world. I used to say it a lot. Like it's me in the bottle, man. Like I used to. It's scary that I think about it. I used to have a relationship with Hennessy. Like it became a relationship.
Like,
Dead serious. Um, I would. It was almost like I don't want to say ritualistic because that sounds crazy and strange. It wasn't ritualistic, but I'd get me a bottle of. Sometimes I get two of them. Man, I'd get me a bottle of Hennessy, and I would think what I was doing was like getting good and drunk. You know how somebody be like, "Oh, you good and drunk, right?" Um, I would feel like it was that, but really it was like an extremely depressed state, and I would get to a point where I would get so intoxicated, I would kind of just sit there and be just numb. Like that was my old point of you know being good and drunk. I would either have to drink until I was completely numb or asleep. Because my thing was, if it's not enough to make me pass out, then it's not enough. And I'm 220 pounds. And people have watched me drink entire bottles of Hennessy, E&J, Paul Masson, beers, and I'm a grown man. None of those things are anyone else's fault but mine. They didn't pay for it. You know what I mean? Um, so what I'm saying that to say, you know, I have evidence of me abusing liquor, like on such high levels. Other drinkers are like, preach, you're fucking tripping. Like other people that like to drink, they're like, God damn, bro, is that two bottles? Like on some, I remember one time I was binging. I lived in another apartment. And man, I was binging. I think it was when I first started getting on panels, and it was fun because I finally had something interactive to do with when I felt like alone or whatever. And I was like, oh, it's a whole fucking community of people talking to each other on the internet. So if I want to roast, I can go roast somebody. If I want to if I want to have a conversation about relationships, I can find a channel that does that. And there are girls on here too, and they be camming up, bro. I was sold. I was fucking sold. Um, I remember one time. It was like this was like at one of the worst points. This is actually what made me stop drinking for 2 months. Now I don't bring that up because I stopped drinking for the wrong reason, so I don't even count that. But this was about a year and a half, 2 years ago. Um, now you have different sizes of liquor bottles. Obviously, like, I think it's like a 450 milliliter, a 750 milliliter, and a 1.75 milliliter bottle.
Mhm.
Uh, oh no, it's 1.75 liters. My bad. 1.75 liter or whatever, something like that. Um, I remember one time I bought two of those. I didn't buy one, finish it, and buy another one. No, I bought two of them. I probably spent $90. I would do this like every 3 days. It got bad. And it was one particular stream where I don't know if it was Queen's Throne or somebody that was like, okay, preach. We're starting to get concerned now. And this was 2 years ago. But I didn't care. I didn't give a damn. I had the money to pay for it. I was in a relationship at the time. So I get good and drunk. Me and my girl would smash. It wasn't nothing wrong with what I was doing. Right? Um, I had everything under control, right? So uh so I'm drinking one bottle. I'm not pouring it in a cup. I'm not chasing it. I'm just drinking out the entire bottle. And I think I started drinking one day at around, because what I would do is like during work, I would buy a big bottle of Hennessy and like drink during work so I can get started for when I got off work. So I already be drunk
Right.
before I got on whatever panel I got on. This is the thing about it. That was the same thing with the social anxiety. Like I noticed that when I'm sober, I would be less likely to like pull up, talk to people, or even feel like talking to anyone, because it was one of those things where it was like it released certain inhibitions and I would be able to let shit fly. But the real big negative side to that is I'm drunk while I'm doing it, so I'm being toxic as fuck. You see what I'm saying? I'm not just being like, oh, happy go lucky. Like a lot of the times I'll be laughing and joking or find something funny, but the conversation would eventually degenerate into like an argument. Like don't let it be a dude that I don't like in my space. I'm gonna be vicious.
Right.
You know, I don't really have that enemy. I really don't have the energy towards women because I feel like women aren't my enemy. Um, but so it was like a real shitstorm. Um, and yeah, so I'm down in the bottle. I'm down in the bottle, and I don't know who noticed it once I got on the panel, but it was like a half a bottle. They're like, "Yo, that's a big ass bottle," and I proudly held it up. And I was like, yeah, it's 1.75 milliliter. I think somebody was like, oh, preach, that's fake. You don't be drinking like that. That's iced tea. Once again, I proudly picked up the other bottle that was unopened, showed them the seal. And I don't know who it was, but their eyes got big and they was like, okay, damn. They were like, that is some shit that you buy for a family gathering. And it's not even going to be finished by the time everyone leaves, type shit. And I'm drinking it, two of them, by myself. So when it comes to excess, all these things that people in AA are talking about, how, you know, the type of amounts an actual alcoholic needs to drink before they quote unquote satisfy themselves. Because the thing about an alcoholic, they're never really satisfied. Because the goal, first I thought the goal was to get hammered, which it was, right? But the real goal was to fill a void that liquor just, it's not gonna cut it. But when you're just going off emotion, you don't think about that. You don't care about that. And can't nobody tell you nothing. Because there's a reason why you became closed off. There's a reason why you don't share with people. Because at some point in your life, you tried to share, you tried to be candid, you tried to tell somebody how you felt. And if you're a young man, somebody probably called you a bitch or ignored you or told you some shit like everybody got problems, you ain't got problems, and start playing the struggle Olympics with you. So it kind of completely turned you off from talking to anybody about anything. As soon as you tell somebody, man, I had a bad day, you had a bad day. My girl cheating on me. And it's like, damn, bro, why are we competing for whose life is worse, nigga? I said it because I thought you was gonna listen, bro. I listened to you too, but just don't shit on my experience. You
Right.
see what and so that happens a lot to people, especially men. You know, so if when you do that, and every time you're met with some stupid ass shit, it's never a positive thing. You're like, fuck it, man. Fuck you. This bottle of Hennessy ain't about to fucking tell me how bad its day was. It's just gonna make me feel good.
Right. It ain't gonna tell me to toughen up.
Right, yeah. It ain't gonna tell me, um, I'm not worried about this bottle of Hennessy using my words against me. Or looking at my struggles as weaknesses. Like I'm not worried about that. Yeah, I'm not worried about that bottle of Hennessy, um, you feel me, telling me um my experience, isn't as important because you have one too. You see what I'm saying? That you think is worse. Like this bottle of Hennessy ain't gonna do none of that. All it's gonna do is get me fucking hammered, and I'm good with that. And I was good with that for a long time. You see what I'm saying? Um, but man, look, I'm 30, man. I don't wanna die on the toilet at 35. You know what I mean? I don't. I really don't. Um, I really don't want to be that lonely drunk. You know what I mean? I really, really, really don't.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, not at all.
Man,
Um,
it sounds like you got way more than 24 hours. It sounds like you talk like you got a lot of things figured out.
no, I sound like it, but I'm scared.
Yeah.
That's
What,
the honest fucking truth. I
what do
sound like it because um, I'm pushing a lot of positivity right now because I'm gonna need that. I'm gonna need that positive karma.
what are you scared of?
Um, not, not, uh, well, okay, I don't want to say scared. Um, I'm trying to not anticipate. It's kind of a fear because I just want to make sure that this time I'm doing this for my own personal um well being because I've noticed that put I would put other people in front of myself because I kind of felt like I didn't deserve, you know, to have an opinion or feel a way about things. I didn't deserve to be happy. I didn't deserve to have certain nice things. You see what I'm saying? Almost every relationship I've been in, no lie, my exes have been like, you deserve to be happy, right? And I'm like, why are you saying that? And they're like, well, you might not see it, but like you get real drunk and real depressed, almost to the point where it's like you have no hope. And like, how do you think that makes me feel? And I'm your girlfriend. And I'm just like, if y'all don't bend over, let me clap them cheeks. No, I'm just kidding. But no, but, yeah, no, but I like, it's a real selfish thing. Um, but it was a lack of self care because of a lack of self worth, I guess.
Yeah, that
You
was
know,
definitely my brother's problem. It was just like, low self esteem, and he just hated himself. And I finally told him one day, before all this, I was like, man, you act like, you ran into a bus of school children. You know what I mean?
wow.
I was like, bro, you act like and then after you ran into the bus, you took them off and threw them off the edge, one by one. You know what I mean? I was like, but you did, but you didn't. He's like, and he looked at me. He was like, but I feel like I did. And I was like, but you didn't, bro. You didn't. You haven't done anything that can't be undone. You know what I mean?
It's a fact.
But he did. He beat himself up constantly.
That, that it got to a point where um I would say, and this like another thing about A was why I listened to these lectures. This dude was like, this one guy telling his story. He said, I didn't understand until I started to get a little bit more sober that when I first started going to meetings, um, I really was not in reality. He was like, because I noticed that everyone I met had a completely different outlook on me than I did. He's like, I'm walking around assuming that everyone just thinks I'm this piece of shit
Hmm.
and I'm the worst type of person. And he was like, that fueled the alcoholism because it's like, if I'm a piece of shit, then everything's hopeless. Like, if this is all going to go eventually, you're pessimistic and it's a lot of negative self talk. And he was like, I'm noticing that, I'm thinking way worse about myself than everybody else is about me. They're just going about their lives, probably thinking about their bills and their loved ones. And I'm sitting here thinking that I'm so special that all of these people are walking around with this negative opinion of me.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? And that really resonated with me, because whatever happens in your life that makes you lose that light, and you don't have proper guidance to let you know, like, you know, you're supposed to have that type of light. You're supposed to have some kind of self. It's something you got to relearn. You know what I mean? Like, it's really something you got to relearn. And it is like that. I don't know if it's all substances, but for me, definitely, like, a lot of it was like, man, I'm a piece of shit. Life is short. So I'm gonna just get hammered and do whatever I want in the meantime. As long as I'm not hurting nobody and I'm just hurting myself, right? Then
Mm-hmm.
it's okay.
Yeah, and you deserve it. You deserve to
Right?
be. Yeah.
I deserve this drink. I earned it, right? Um, no, exactly. And I can tell you've watched him for a while, and it really bothered you because, like, yeah, this is going through your mind as well, and you're not even addicted,
He
and
was showing us things like a
oh,
teddy
my bad.
bear and a rattle and a little
You good?
train.
No, I was this conversation is really engaging. I appreciate that because what I was gonna do, I didn't know if everybody was gonna drop off or if people wanted to talk, but um I was gonna play like 5 seconds of this, and so people could just hear the rhetoric because, like, this is what I listen to like all day now. Uh, and you said it sounds like I've been doing it. Listen, look, I got 12 days in. I try to fill my brain up with a lot of information, um, meet a lot of people that are on a different track, like go to these meetings. So I have 12 very clear days doing that, right? And the thing about liquor is, like I said, it makes shitty things. It makes things that really aren't even that bad far worse. It's almost like the alcoholic is like, okay, it's kind of bad, but since it's kind of bad, I'm just gonna use that as an excuse to drink, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
if it's kind of bad, it might as well be all the way fucked, right?
Mm-hmm.
How could it get any worse?
Mm-hmm.
And then when you wake up in a ditch or in a jail cell,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's how it could get worse. So um, I don't know. I just looked at that the last time I went back to the bottle, and I was like, so what the fuck, man? I was kind of real disappointed in myself. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just like how I went hard drinking. I need to go hard in the opposite direction. And
Yeah.
I completely pushed out of my mind. Like, I didn't. I just was like, if I let myself believe it's a failure, I'm gonna keep drinking. I'm gonna keep on drinking. I'm not gonna stop. Like, if I let myself believe it's a failure and there's still no hope, I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep going either till I can't buy no more liquor. Then I'm just gonna wait until I got money to buy more liquor. Um, or I'm gonna fuck something up drastically in my life and make it so that only will I not be able to buy liquor, I won't be able to buy a lot of other things. But yeah, so I mean, it's a journey. It's a journey.
Yeah,
Um,
it's controlling. It can
right,
grab a hold of you.
right. And I gotta get out of this mind state that one day it's going to be something that I'll be able to have under control. I think that's a real arrogant way to look at it. When it's been proven to you time and time and time again that you can't, it's just not you. Your brain just don't work that way. But yeah, let me see. I don't know who this speaker is. Sandy Recovery was a speaker. Okay, so I don't know who this is, but just listen to a few seconds of this, and maybe it might inspire somebody to start listening to these. The channel is Odontology 12-Step Recovery Media. I think it's like hundreds of videos on here.
Brain.
This, at the very least, it's hours and hours and hours of conversation.
And then, here's something else. Here's something else. And then one day they go to take the bear away and give us the train, and we go, mine. Now there's something there in addition to the child of God. There's a mine. And then that takes over. You see the difference? Up till then, whatever this spirit, see, we're a spiritual being having a human experience. So we open our eyes as a spiritual being, we go, whoa, look at this. And it's wonderful. And then that day that we go mine, we've decided that is mine, and it's wrong for them to take it away from me. And we just improve on that story. Now there's me and them, and they're trying to get my teddy bear. They're trying to get my yacht. They're trying to get my country. They're trying to get, who are they? And who are they getting it away from? Remember the leaf on the tree? The other leaves are trying to screw it up for me. He's part of those other leaves. You aren't have a separate address from the tree. I'm Post Office Box 3 on the tree. I got that Leafs mail. I mean, what is that? You see what I'm saying? And so we have established this so strongly that it's hard to believe that we could have fooled ourselves this long. And so when people come along and say, the real world is like these holograms, and when you see it, then you realize it's been there all along. And that's what we're trying to communicate, and what the whole program is trying to afford us the entree to is a whole way of going into that world and dropping this world, the power that this world has over us, and only feel the power of our Creator. Well, then how am I supposed to get along in this world? What did Chuck say? I spent 29 years expecting guidance. That's how you get along. You know, now they got this, what is it, GPS or whatever it is? They got satellites up there, and everybody knows exactly where they are at all times. What if we had told the guys in the wagons going west that someday there'd be something orbiting up there that would tell them exactly within 1.5 feet of where they are? Or Lewis and Clark, forget the Indian guides. Trust the satellite up there. We go, what? What? Yeah, there's a thing orbiting, and it watches you when it goes by. And if you ask it, it'll tell you where you are. Now, he can't see it, doesn't know anything about that. It'd be pretty hard to believe in it. So we're sitting here today with the proposition, hey, there's this invisible higher power. And if you will totally turn your life over to it, just take its hand, it'll walk you through the rest of your life and it'll be wonderful. Yeah. Now watch inside. Are you kidding? Are you really going to try that? Warning, warning, warning. Danger, danger, maniac at the wheel. He's thinking of trying this crap. Danger, danger, danger. There goes my money. There goes my car. There goes my job. There goes everything. Warning, warning. Do not trust God. Do not trust God. Do you hear that?
Okay. I don't know if you're still here with me, Sterling, but
Yeah, I'm right here.
yeah, just a few seconds of that. Hopefully, people got a little bit of a gist of like just the type of rhetoric and the type of people that speak. And a lot of them sound very similar. They recommend that the sponsors stay gender specific, right? So, they recommend that men should have men sponsors, women should have women sponsors, XYZ. Listening to this, I think it's good. I think if anyone like struggles with alcoholism, look, man, everybody's journey is different and everybody's turning point is different. Why, if you even have a substance problem, first try to evaluate whether or not you even have an issue, right? And chances are, if you're doing something in excess and it's harming you, your loved ones are going to, or they probably have already confronted you about it in some kind of way, unless you're someone like Sterling's big brother that's I'm assuming is a taller guy that might be a little bit respected, which is why people weren't so upfront or adamant about addressing him, which is a natural thing. People, for the most part, people avoid confrontation. It's a path of least resistance, but sometimes things need to be agitated for there to create change, right? So I'm just saying, man, I am a skeptic. I don't know if liquor made me do it, because I've noticed also that when I stayed away from the liquor, I was less pessimistic. I was less, I was more of glass half full instead of half empty. And I maybe had like 3 or 4 days of this clarity, right, before I made the wonderful decision of drinking again, instead of doing something proactive, right? So yeah, man. If you feel like you have an issue and you want to stop, the good thing about people in AA and speakers in general is that they've been there, they've done that, and not one time have I ever, not out of all these hours I listened to. I mean, sometimes there'll be 100 people in those Zoom meetings. There's no cap on that shit. Sometimes it's 100 people. I think the least I've seen was like 45, consistently going between 45 and 50 people coming in and out. Not one time have I heard anyone, a sponsor, a person who's only been sober for 2 hours, a person that just decided to stop drinking that day, not from the people that just stopped, not from the people that just started, not from the people that's been in it for a while. No one has ever spoken down on anyone in any kind of setting I've been in. I've never heard one of these speakers speak down on other speakers or other people, or downplay other addictions, or make people try to feel bad in any type of way, man. So if you're worried that they're going to try to push you into one direction, like I was, you're good. The most they'll say is, like he said earlier, like give yourself up to a power stronger than yourself. Trust in it because you trusted in this substance. Like I trusted in liquor, and I see where that got me. And just after 12 days of stepping away from it, it made drastic changes in my mood, my personality, um, my work, and personal relationships. Um, you know, and then as soon as I picked up the liquor again, all of, like it just immediately negatively affected everything. Um, in 24 hours of picking the liquor back up, a relationship ended. I binge drank, and it almost affected my job. Good thing I'm in an industry where I'm kind of like a private contractor, so I ain't really got to worry about corporate America breathing out my neck about fucking being 10, 15 minutes late. Dumbass shit. But I'm lucky, but I'm not everybody. Some people do have 9 to 5s, and they do need to punch a clock. And and I have been in positions where that 10 minutes did matter, and it don't take long for them to stack up for a company to be like, oh, you're in a written, now you're in a final, you're gone. That's happened more than enough. Um, so yeah, man, like this shit is serious business, man. My life is on the line, and if you feel like your life is on the line, like I said, sometimes it's good to just know that you're not the only one, man. I mean, it's an ocean of people, man. It's thousands and thousands of people, and if you really seriously feel like I don't know, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a mentor, none of that, but I'm not going to advertise the website I know about because people are toxic and trolly on the internet, and I'm a natural troll, so trolls kind of gravitate towards me sometimes. But see, I'm
Yeah.
not mean. I'm not mean and nasty. Like I'm not gonna go porn bomb a meeting. That's just ridiculous. I do like how I'm doing on YouTube, and I'm usually showing my face. I'm usually cammed up in those meetings unless they request that people don't. I usually cam up. A lot of people usually cam up. So yeah. But if you really really feel like, man, like liquor is a vice for you, and you're one of those people that wants to be anonymous, fucking create a new email. Tell me what's going on, and if I don't feel like you're baiting me, then I'll show you where to go. Um, and it'll be a bunch of people there that most likely are going through or have been through what you went through, and they'll give you resources, they'll help you get started. Um, I mean, I know of my like second day of being in meetings, man. They sent me an email with like 100 different sponsors from all around the United States, man. And my mistake was I didn't reach out to enough of them. I only reached out to like 3 or 4. I should have reached out to all of them. Like, hey, my name is XYZ. This is this and that. Blah blah blah. I should have done that, but I half-assed it. I half-assed it because I thought, you know, I can go. I've already stopped drinking for a few days. I can just go semi. I can take this semi seriously.
Yeah, what's the
You know,
rush?
right, yeah.
Yeah,
It
my
was
brother, he never talked about doing the program, so this is a first. He said he's gonna do it, and he said he's looking for a sponsor. So, yeah, we talked about that, and my brother and I, we've always been atheists. So, like, I straight up asked him yesterday. I think we were eating, and I was like, so when he was talking about NA, he's going to meetings every day, and he likes it, and anyway, it's going well. And I asked him straight up. I said, "So what about the higher power, bruh? You know what I mean? What about that?" And because I knew it would be a problem for me, and I thought it might be a problem for him. And he was like, "Hey, look, the group is a higher power."
It's a great answer.
You know what I mean? He's like, people coming together, more people than just me. Then yeah, that's a higher power. I don't have a problem with that.
No, yeah, yeah, and like I said before, like one of the things that was making me hesitant to even listen to those speakers or even step in that space is because I had this preconceived notion that because even South Park did an episode about like the 12 steps, and they kind of shitted on AA,
Mm.
and I really disliked it. I look back on the episode and I'm like, damn, that's some toxic ass shit. Like you pretty much like you you pretty much you possibly could have stirred people away from this, entire group of people that completely understand what they're going through. And an alcoholic is naturally a pessimistic, um, uh, a narcissistic, selfish, depressed person. And you're giving a person like that a way out, an excuse to not, you know what I mean? Like to not
Mhm.
recover. Like they're gonna take it every time. They're gonna take it every time.
Sure.
But see, back then that wasn't my perspective. I just laughed at the shit. I think I was drinking when I was watching. Um, so because everybody loves Randy. Thought it was America. Thought it was
Uh,
America.
you know,
Everybody.
I don't think I saw this episode. So what were they specifically shitting on like AA about? Like what was it about that was done?
Well, I mean, Randy joined AA because he was like, I'm an alcoholic, Sharon. I have a disease, right? And but in that episode, they were calling it a disease.
Mhm.
And Stan, his son, because Randy's a geologist, right? And his son is Stan, and Stan's usually the level-headed voice of reason in the show. He's like, Dad, you don't have a disease, Dad. You just drink too much. And they're kind of coming at it from a perspective like, for one, they're calling it a disease. There have been many people in the AA community that have these talks that kind of denounce that notion that alcoholism is a disease. They say you have a allergic reaction to liquor. Your brain literally has a different reaction to that type of mind altering substance. And that's why they say the first step is admitting it. I mean, when you literally have to continue drinking until the point where you black out, like it might not be a disease, but it's definitely some kind of disorder. Like your body does not react well to that. And you got to admit that. And sometimes it takes that substance removing a whole lot of stuff from your life until you look up and you're actually as alone as you always thought you were before you started using that substance. You see what I'm saying? And then hopefully you realize it. Sugar Mama has got the eyes on me.
Yeah,
What's
what's up, Sugar Bomb?
got the eyes on me? I see you looking, shorty. Um, look but don't touch. I'm a child of God. Anyways, so yeah, some people look up and see um, the stuff that they've lost, and they decide that they're not going to lose anymore. Um, I think that point for everybody is different. But another beautiful thing about AA, it does this it does this really dope thing to the way that you perceive it once you start like getting into it and like talking to more people about it. It does this really dope thing where it's such a welcoming space and so non-judgmental and understanding. It doesn't make you feel like, oh, I can get hammered and go to these meetings and trick myself into thinking I'm doing the work. Even if you do have that mentality in the beginning, it's quickly dissolved because everything about AA and recovery speaks against that type of thought process and the type of actual peace that comes with real sobriety. And they say all the time, one day it's going to hit you. You're going to look up and you're going to realize that you're really a part of life now. You're not so much in your head anymore. You're actually like making progress because the liquor, I don't know if it does it to other people, but it would stagnate me. It would keep me in bed all day, fuel my depression. You know what I mean? Like, and yeah, it's a real subtle thing. And it's 5:30. If y'all are gonna hang with me, that's cool. Let me see. do I want to take a nap for a few hours? I don't gotta go to work until 10. I can get like 4 hours of sleep maybe if I pass out right now. I don't feel like I need to, but yeah, man.
You said
I don't.
you gotta work at what time?
10 o'clock. But I was saying earlier that I'm up so late because I came home from work and I went straight to sleep. So I slept from like 7 to 1:30. Sugar Bum. This is a safe space. I'm trying to create a safe space, and I'm particularly talking about a safe space for people who not only have any kind, not not a specific type of substance abuse, but just anything that you have a addiction to that's negatively affecting your life. So if you got stories about other people, stories about yourself, I just want people to know that it's okay to not be okay. You see what I'm saying? Um, it's okay to not be okay. So if you're not okay, Sugar Mom, you can feel free to come up and let us know if you want to why you're not okay, or if you are okay. Just like Sterling. Sterling, he's like, I'm okay, but I'd like to say something, and I feel like it was real. It's real dope that he did that. The more real life stories we got, is going to give people more of an opportunity. If I'm not the one they relate to, they might relate to someone else, or they might relate to the story. You know what I mean? And like I said, it's all about knowing that you're in a safe space and not being ashamed of letting people know that you're not 100% sometimes. Because bottling that shit up is not healthy. Even if you don't abuse any substances, bottling that up is not healthy.
You know, sugar is highly addictive. Just saying.
Oh, right. Yeah, Jeanette was actually mentioning that. And she was like, and actually, one of my favorite shows is Shameless. And I don't know if you've ever seen it, but it's a Caucasian family based out of Chicago, and it kind of documents their life. Um, there's a um, there's a single woman, and she's the older sister, but she was left to take care of the kids in the house because the dad is a pretty much he's a like low life scum. He's an alcoholic. He's a drug user. He's a bum, pretty much. He's like that. He's like a roach. He doesn't die. Like he'll do shit like steal the family's rent money and stuff like that. He's a scam artist, so stuff like that. Yeah, the show's called Shameless, and because of the lifestyle, the dad's mostly an alcoholic. That's his thing of choice is alcohol, but he'll do like crack, cocaine, fucking Molly, speed, whatever. He's just all around opportunities when it comes to the mind altering substances, right? Um, one of the sons in the show is named Philip, and he's a younger alcoholic, right? But he's not just as bad, but he can be just as bad. And he actually in the show starts going to recovery and working the program. And one of the things I noticed in the show is that his sponsor was like, he would take him to go to breakfast, and he's like, how you feeling? He's like, I want to drink. He's like, try that donut right there. He's like, what? And he's like, yeah, try that donut. It's sugar. Like liquor has a lot of sugar. A lot of people like wean that feeling off with sugar. And I noticed that when I was sober for the 12 days, that coffee really helped. And I actually got that from one of these speakers. He was like, have you ever tried to wake up in the morning without drinking the night before, waking up and just making a cup of coffee and seeing how you feel? And seeing if you feel like drinking that night. Have you ever tried that? And I was like, no, I never fucking tried that. I felt like he was talking to me. Because I work in the office, we get free coffee. We got the Keurig set up, free coffee. So I started drinking coffee. And it just became an everyday thing. I just go get a cup of coffee, not too much sugar, not too much cream. And I wouldn't think about drinking the whole damn day. I'd get home and it wouldn't even be on my damn mind. I'd be good and tired because I actually was productive,
Right.
and I go home, get something to eat, and go to sleep. It was bliss. It was bliss. You know, and so like I keep saying, I got arrogant, man. I got arrogant. I got too comfortable. You know, so I'm not trying to have this be at a million first days. You know, I'm not expecting the world of myself, but I
Well,
definitely, you know, not make this a common occurrence because the goal is to stay. So, you know,
yeah, and you can do it, man. You can do it. Don't beat yourself up. You know, give yourself a break, and don't focus on the L's. You know what I mean? Focus on them W's. And it sounds like you got a really good head on your shoulders. So, like, if you fucked up, if you got off track, don't worry about it.
I appreciate them encouraging words. Now, if you want to stay, that's cool. But I do got to take a leak. Give me a second, man. You can stay if you want. If not,
Sure, I got a minute. How y'all doing in the chat? What's up, Sugar Bum? What's up, Lawrence? Yo, who we got in the chat? Sugar Bum, Lawrence, what's going on? How y'all doing? Yo, what's going on in the chat? Y'all still with us? All right, Lawrence, how you doing, man? I see you. Yeah, what you want us to talk about? I'm kind of new here, so I don't know really what y'all talk about. So let me know if there's something y'all want us to talk about. Any questions, anything like that? Let me know. Hey, Lawrence, what should I ask? Preach. I'm new here. You probably know him better than I do. Anything you want to know? Any questions you got? Talk to me. Was it getting hard sober? All right, I'm gonna ask him now. Ask him that when he gets back. I'm sure he's gonna say yeah, because I think he was saying he's only got 24 hours at this time, so I'm sure. But I'll definitely ask him that. That's a good question. He might say it was hard staying sober. That's what he might say. But well, yeah, I'm gonna ask him that as soon as he gets back. Is that something you struggle with, Lawrence? You asking, for some personal reasons, or well, it might not be my business. It's still a good question. What else? Y'all got any more questions? That's a good one. I was addicted to Xanax and Ambien for 10 years. I've been clean out since 2018. It was very hard. Yeah, good for you, man. Good for you. Oh, that's tough for sure. Um, yeah, Xanax definitely is hard to get off of. Xanax and Ambien, yeah, that'll put you down. Take it all off your mind and just black out. Especially if you're drinking on it too. Man. Yo, how'd you do it, Lawrence? You must have done some detox or something, man. Yeah, it was prescribed, and they kept putting me on more because it would stop working. I was on 4 Xanax bars a day. Dang, man. Yeah, I think it's Xanax bars like 2 milligrams, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, damn. 4 of those a day. That's a lot. And yeah, you do get a tolerance to it for sure. For sure, you have to keep going up on it. And and I'm not talking about you specifically, but a lot of people, this raises a good question or a good point because, excuse me, I think altogether it was 16 milligrams, I guess. It's crazy. No, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, sorry. A lot of people will get stuck in that mindset of, oh, well, if my doctor prescribed it to me, then, it couldn't hurt me, could it? My doctor wouldn't prescribe something that could hurt me, and the pharmacy wouldn't fill it if it could hurt me, and at least I'm better than those people out there on the street doing street drugs, you know? And I'm not saying you thought any of that, but I've talked to people who do feel like that, and they do, you know, hold their nose up at people who are, addicted to heroin when they themselves take oxy, you know, they themselves take morphine and fentanyl. So yeah, don't be silly. Just because your doctor prescribes it doesn't mean you need it, and it doesn't mean it won't hook you, and it doesn't mean it can't kill you. And that's just the truth of it. So how'd you do it, Lawrence? What'd you do? Um, some sort of, like I said, you had to have detox, right?
All right, guys, I'm back. Promise. Promise. Appreciate y'all, man. Y'all still hanging with me?
Yeah,
What I was
man.
going to do. Oh, yeah, my bad, bro. What was your name?
I just been chatting with the chat.
Oh, hey. That's what's up. Appreciate you holding my shit down.
Yeah, I tried. Oh, oh, Lawrence wanted me to ask you a question.
Oh, yeah, man. All right. So we got some people in here. Oh, we got Lawrence talking. What y'all talking about, man?
Yeah, Lawrence said, "Was it hard getting sober?" I think that was supposed to be a question for you.
Um, it is hard. It is hard staying sober. It's funny how it wasn't hard. It wasn't difficult the first time because of the type of motivation I had. But the only issue with it was the motivation didn't come from within. I wasn't doing it for me, and I think played a role in why I relapsed so soon, because I was very motivated, but for the wrong reasons. And so, like I was saying earlier, if your motivation isn't based on you and improving your life, all a situation has to do is remove whatever that reason was. If it can be removed, then your foundation is gone, and you're 100% vulnerable to um to this to this substance, which you pretty much don't stand a chance against. You know what I mean? So it's like you're putting yourself in a position to get kind of messed over. Um, but like I said, that was my first time actually doing a program, actually experiencing it. Um, and when they told me some people have uh 30 first days, 100 first days, I didn't think it was a thing, but I see that, like you really have to, like, day one, day two, or as soon as possible, man. Getting that sponsor, pretty much setting up situations where you have a whole bunch of other options than drinking. Setting it up so that you pretty much put roadblocks in front of that next drink or that next poor decision in general. And part of half-assing it and kind of slacking and just being arrogant and thinking that you can handle it is not taking it serious as far as putting yourself in a position to win and remain strong. If you have 1 ounce of like arrogance, you might relapse. If you're arrogant about it and you think that a few days is enough, or until you just feel okay is enough, if you feeling okay is enough, then you feeling bad is going to be enough for you to relapse. And like I'm starting to see that shit firsthand. So yeah, it's hard, but it's ways to make it a little bit easier. And there are people that have lived way longer than me, that have lost a lot more than me, that have been sober for far longer, have been working the steps and being in programs and learning different ways to cope. And a large part of the ego and the pride is I have to accept that I'm gonna have to lean on them. You know what I mean? Um, yeah, I'm gonna have to lean on those people, and I'm gonna
What
have to trust them.
What do you see as like one of your biggest like obstacles in the moving forward?
Um, one of my biggest obstacles might be is like I'm I'm not the most family oriented person, but I am kind of a sucker for love. Like I'm not a whoremonger. Like I don't like having multiple partners. But if I run into a dope ass chick, it's like it's a little bit of an unhealthy thing I'll do. Kind of like putting all my eggs in one basket, because I'm like naturally monogamous. Like I didn't like I my parents been married for like 27 years, so I don't do the whole like sleeping around, sneaky link, multiple dealing with multiple people. I don't do all type of shit like that. So I would say my thing is, before I even act like I want to be in a relationship again, I really need to have a whole lot of things in place. As to where, if something negative happens in that relationship, um, the only thing that's going to change is being being single. That's the only going to be the only change, because you know, um, that'll do it. Because that shit hurts. You see what I'm saying? But you know, if if I'm if I'm focused and I'm looking, like you said, your brother looking into the future and all that. If I'm looking into the future, I'm not gonna look at a ended relationship as like as bad as I would probably in my current state or in my past state of mind, because I've never really done this before. This whole like caring for myself Um, trying to put myself in a winning position, focusing on that. You know what I mean? Not indulging in a substance, not having that. Oh well, nobody cares about me and nothing even matters, so I might as well just drink until it's over type mentality, that selfish mentality, you know. So you know, so yeah, like I'm stepping into some uncharted territory, but you
Good for
know,
you.
trying to stay optimistic. You know what I mean?
Man, you sound good, man. You talk a good talk.
I do talk a good game, don't I?
You do. You really do, man. I'm pulling for you.
Yeah, man, and because it was at one point where I was like, man, I was even telling my boy today when I was talking to him about going back to the bottle and just the binge drinking I was doing for that few days, because he's my coworker. You know, we work together, so he's like, bro, you off your game? Like, I'm like, well, because I haven't seen him, I haven't worked with him in like years, so we kind of like, but I'm getting back. I went back to another industry because I changed my profession for a little while. Um, my bad, I got distracted. This girl on TikTok is eating this fire looking ass hot pocket, and I don't know why, but it looks bigger than the regular hot pocket. Yeah, it's those new gourmet ones that got like the garlic on it and shit. Yeah, I gotta go get those. Um, but yeah, so like I was telling my, damn, she fine as hell. I'm getting distracted. I gotta turn off TikTok. Okay. So what the
We were
fuck?
talking about obstacles, and you were talking about
Yeah,
love interest and how
yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah. That would be bad for me because I'm not in the space to be with anybody. I have to accept that too. Because if I'm letting alcohol have that kind of, if it has that kind of dominion over me, like there's a whole lot of factors in a relationship. Like you gotta, if I'm a man, you know, so it has to be a high level of stability there. Like why would a woman want to be with someone who's not stable? At any moment they'll pick up the bottle and destroy their life. Like that's not stable. Like that doesn't feel safe. Women want to feel safe.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Um. So yeah. So that's another factor. Uh, insecure, and I'm old school, so I feel like you should take care of your woman to a certain degree. Um. I mean, if you want to buy something or pay for something, that's cool. But I feel like as a man, I should be able to take care of you and me. Now, if you want to work, you want to have a career, I don't care. You see what I'm saying? You know, there's more money in the house, I guess. But yeah. So man, look. So that I would say that would be the obstacle if I that's the obstacle if I don't get myself right first, man. Because all that negative self talk and all that stuff, man, that's really bad in a relationship. It can make you sound like real insecure and all that shit. And women don't like that either. We're gonna be real.
Oh yeah.
They
No.
want a man to secure in himself. And I don't think me being secure in myself is an issue, but when you drink in excess, you kind of like put yourself in a position where you just are going to look bad a lot.
Oh yeah.
You
Set
just
yourself
don't
up
care,
for
right?
failure.
Yeah, exactly. It's just you don't care until the shit hits the fan, and then you know. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
About
just trying
that.
to
About,
just trying to set myself up for success, bro.
good
You
for
know,
you, man.
yeah. Like I said, I talk a good game, and you know, I really got to start going back to my meet. I really do got to get a sponsor. I think that's gonna be my mission tomorrow. Um, I'm a I might go to a meeting at work. I could do that too. Um, but yeah, uh, I might go to a meeting at work, and
Well, let me ask you this: do your loved ones, your friends, your family, do they see a difference in you? Like, do they see that you're making, that you're really trying to make a change, or what?
well, really, it's only been 12 days,
Mm.
and I'm a homebody. I have a roommate, and he is 100% in my corner. You know what I mean? He's like, man, that's awesome, bro. Like most people refuse to even stop in the first place. And so yeah, he's definitely encouraged me, my roommate. Um, but he's the one that knows. Um, he's the one that like sees me every day. But as far as other family, like I'm a real shut in. Like I'm a homebody. I don't avoid people, but I don't go out of my way to be around a bunch of people all the time either. Um, and also, uh, what was I gonna say? Like my mom, obviously, like she when I told her every day she texts me and she's like, "Hey, what's going on with this and that, with this and that?" So she like everyone that knows, like I talked to my loved ones about it when it initially happened. They're all in my corner. Um, but I don't think 12 days is long enough for like people to see outside improvement because it, unfortunately it didn't really get to a point where it did so much irreparable damage to my life. Like because like you lose a job, you can get another job. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm the only one being directly affected financially because I don't have any kids. Only thing I got to worry about is rent, for real. Um,
Oh, I don't know why I thought I heard you say you had kids that left or something.
oh no. I was saying that one of the speakers, one of the guys was like, I think he said he lost everything, like his wife and his kids and stuff. And he
Oh,
was
I got
telling his story. Yeah, it was other AA guys telling their story and stuff like that.
oh, okay.
But no, I've never been married, no kids, man. And you know, other AA people are like, look, man, you know, it's definitely a good thing that you're identifying this, stopping now, before children are involved, your house is on the line. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like stuff like that. So, you know, it's just one of these things where there are so many different examples of people sharing what they go through and like telling you, like, bro, I work for a Fortune 500 company, it's making six figures.
Hmm.
I lost everything. I had
Yeah.
to become a janitor and still go to meetings. My whole entire lifestyle changed. My
Wow.
wife is moving on. They have the house type shit. I mean, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when
Wow.
I hear people like that say, "Oh, I've been sober for 12 years," you know, and I still never really got back to that same financial place. He's like, the only difference is I'm not drinking anymore.
Yeah, and you
He's
can.
like that, and they're like, that's good enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can meet people who went through that and they're happier now.
Yeah,
Not even just fake happy, but like legit happier.
it's a fact. That's a fact. Yeah, yeah. But yeah. So, man, I appreciate you showing up, man.
Hey man, thanks for having me. Get a few hours of sleep.
Yeah, I'm definitely try to do that. And for anybody that just wants to stay and chill and appreciates like calming shit, I'm probably gonna just play these guys speaking. So y'all can lay back, stay as long as you want. I don't know how much damn hours I have to stream, but you know, if like I said, if this even helps one or two people that feel like they're up, can't sleep, or what have you, I'm still gonna chill. I'm gonna play this shit. I ain't gonna lie, I might pass out while I'm listening to this.
Hell yeah. Well, I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna listen for a minute and do the same. And I'm gonna like and subscribe. Thank you.
Man, thanks, bro. We really appreciate you, dog. You're always welcome, man.
Cheers.
Yep. All right, man. It was a great show, man. I appreciate everybody supporting. And like I said, I'm gonna play this for you guys. And yeah, I hope you enjoy it. They have some insight here. These are speakers that some of them have 10 years sober, 15, 20 years sober. Um, I just find it really dope that I can have hours and hours and hours of tape of people making me feel like I'm not the biggest piece of shit alcoholic in the world. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So, what we hope when we try to see that everything that comes up morning, we just go, oh, that's just separation from God. That's just separation. That's that one problem manifesting itself in many different ways that we can start. You see, all we want to do.
It says, hold on, I'm reading comments. It says, I sometimes worry about Rich Bleasy. He seems to drink a lot. Well, I can't speak on that man and what he decides to, and how he decides to live his life, but I hear you. I hear you. Rich Bleasy, he does say he likes to drink. He admits it. He's not ashamed of it. And, you know, it's no telling. Maybe he doesn't drink at levels that I did. Maybe liquor didn't do to his life what it did to mine. You know what I mean? You know, and it's also about personal accountability. And I learned that telling somebody who is addicted to something that they're wrong for what they're doing or they should change it without them making that decision themselves ain't gonna get you nowhere. But yeah, I feel you, man. I feel you. It seems like he gets real toe up, but I don't know. Maybe it's just beers, and maybe he just gets drunk fast. Yeah, but I hear you though.
Is quiet the resistance, which is what willingness is. Quiet the resistance, have an open mind. Open mind. This sign right behind me is how to have an open mind. That was there's a teacher, an enlightened, whatever you want to call, awakened type of person. And he was in formal meditation and training for 15 years, et cetera, et cetera. And then he decided, I'm just going to directly awaken. Called it the direct path. That's it. That's the entire program right there. You just always allow everything to be. Now, of course, in order to allow everything to be as it is, most of you has to stop commenting and talking and having opinions about everything. And quieting that is not easy. But there it is. None of it can happen without what I just read. Visualizing our own spiritual objective. Because any of you start a business? Any of you start a new hobby? Any of you envision Mike built something to carry his plane out with pontoons on it? He has it in his garage. That's almost like you started with something and then manufactured it, and now he has this machine that picks up his plane with pontoons on it and puts it in his lake. And he envisioned that. He says, I need something. I got the garage. I need that. So he envisioned it, and the envisioning caused it to happen. The strange part about spirituality is once we envision awakening, the most powerful way to get there is something that is way beyond positive thinking. Positive thinking can get some amazing results, but there's something that is probably 1,000 times more powerful. It's called not thinking. No thinking. Now, why would we want to do no thinking? Because there's nothing to know. There's nothing to learn. There's nothing to be figured out. It is only there to enjoy. It's already there. So in order to get there, we have to stop thinking and just be. I saw some of us sitting by the pond. Maybe you were sitting at the different stations of the cross. And you found yourself just taking it in. Taking it in is done without thinking. You're just like you take a breath in. You just take it in. and then you can let it go, and then you take it in, and then you let it go. You don't comment on it. You don't editorialize about it. You just, and so there's a state that many people write about, which is called not knowing. The wonderful place of not knowing. And the final thing that I'd like to tack on the end of this, and they all fit together, science, both science and religion, have tremendous knowledge about the past and the future. Scientists are getting closer and closer and closer and closer and closer to agreeing about the origin of the universe. And they're getting closer and closer and closer to imagining what the end, if there is an end, or is it going to come back together, or is it going to expand forever? They're really getting where they're starting to agree. And as Bill wrote in the big book, scientists are forcing nature to disclose her secrets. And I've been watching them force the secrets out of nature since I was a little kid. And once they squeeze another one out, they go, we got it. We're this close to everything. And then they find a black hole. And they go, what the hell is that? So they run and they run and they run. Don't worry. We're this close. We just got to get around the black hole and we got to get there. And then they go, okay, we're starting to get it. What is that? What's that? What's a quark? Why is a quark a neutrino? What are they doing down there? They're behaving differently when we're watching them. What does that mean? But we're this close. Don't worry. Give us another week. We're going to have this 1,000 years from now. We're this close. We're this close. So, but anyway, and the same thing with religion. They will give us the history. They tell us how it originated. And all of this is wonderful, and we need it. And the future. And there's heaven, and you might go there, and this is what's going to happen, and et cetera. The only thing they leave out where there's very little study is the now, the present moment. And the only thing that can study that, not study it, but takes us there, is spirituality. The spiritual moment is where everything takes place. And the smaller it is, the more powerful it is. I couldn't understand when they were talking about the development, because I was a little kid, of the atomic bomb. I said, what are they going to build it out of? I remember that was the thing. What are they going to build it out of that'll make it so big? Well, I guess it was afterwards. They said, what did they build it out of? They're going to split an atom. So, well, how big is an atom? Oh, man, can't even see the damn thing. That's how small it is. I said, so inside of the smallest thing there is all this power? Yes, it's in there. You have to split it in order to get it. So what do you think is in the now? I think it's just like a wormhole in space that they talk about. You go from that part of the universe to that part of the universe. You can get there in that moment. How do you get to now? You have to let go of everything that isn't now. Let go of everything that isn't now. And if it really was, in other words, this is everything, and you just go like this, it would happen. We have to pry our fingers open. Everything that constitutes the ego is what has to be let go of. And it just ain't letting go without a fight, which is why the seventh step talks about pain. The pain of letting go. The pain of giving up the kingdom. Okay, I'll give you Rhode Island. but I'm keeping Oklahoma and Texas. And I got to give up Oklahoma? You follow what I'm saying? It's just, and the more territory that we concede, the bigger the glimpse gets. So I hope this weekend, in some small way, causes us to redefine our spiritual objective. Your spiritual objective, because it's just yours. Matters not what the gentleman behind you does. You'll be happy for him, but it'll have no effect on you. So you're the seeker. That's what does it say? That word is used a lot in our program. When we read chapter 5, what's the last word? Sought. Could and would. There's God. You want to go? You want to see the whole kingdom? Okay. So it's up to me. If he were sought through prayer and meditation, seeker, God-seeking missile. That's our focus. Maybe it gets sharpened here. And you open your eyes. I forget where Bill wrote that. We open our eyes to an unlimited view or whatever it is. And I think that's it. Lift our eyes towards something we never dreamed we would set for ourselves. We're at the end of the time. Let's hang around and visit a little bit, and then we got a break until after lunch. Thank you all for your attention. Okay, we'll go ahead and start the question and answer portion of our weekend. And when we say question and answer, first we got to understand there is no the answer to anything. What you will get is what it looks like from my perspective today when the subject comes up. It's a different answer than I would have given 20 years ago. And it might be different from what I'm going to give 20 years from now. So all you're hearing is what Scott and I are seeing today. And this is our honest evaluation of what it looks like to us. So that's all you're getting. So you can't walk away and say, well, I just heard the truth. This may lead you towards your own truth, but the truth never comes out of a little piece of paper. So with that in mind, Scott asked me to start, so I'm going to choose this one. How do we reconcile being true to ourselves with getting rid of self? Well, that sounds like a paradox. We have to start with the premise that getting rid of self is being true to ourself. In other words, that course of action automatically leads to the truth. If you follow what I'm saying. If we took being true to ourselves and weren't careful with it, we'd be listening to our ego for advice. What do you think we should do? And we will be following the course we've been following. So, true to our own self, I know we say that, but it has to be the ego-less self that we're referring to. So when people ask me, I hope I'm not stealing another question, they say, how do I know if it's God's will? I say, ask somebody else if they think it is. Hey, do you think it's God's will for me to leave my wife and go to Guatemala with this cute little girl? Because last night it felt like it was. And if I'm true to myself, I'm out of here. So I think that's what I see today in terms of that. And of course, it goes back to what Chuck was saying. There's only one problem, and that is conscious separation. I think that's it. Scott, you draw one. That's a great question.
I have been sober many years and still struggle with negative inner dialogue, telling myself I should be this, I should do that, I should eat this, I should have more. What's the best way to calm this inner dialogue? I don't know. And now I'm going to tell you what I do. And what I mean by I don't know is I don't know what you should do. I really don't. I have come up with some of the single greatest resolutions for problems for everyone in AA, and somehow they haven't been adopted by GSO. I'm still befuddled by this, but what the hell can you do? I resent Scott for being overweight. It affects my self-esteem, pocketbook, ambition, personal relations, and sex. What are the defects in me that if God would remove the resentment would be gone? Well, I'm a glutton. I have low self-esteem. I'm stubborn. I'm playing God. I'm not trusting in God. I'm not living in today. I'm ashamed. Is that enough? That's enough to die from. I don't need much more than that. I'm resentful at Scott for never having any money, for making more money and falling deeper into debt. It affects my self-esteem, pocketbook, ambition, personal relations, and sex. What are the defects in me that would be gone? Because I don't just dislike this. I re-experience the hatred. I re-experience it so that when I wake up, I water the resentment like a little flower. I want to make sure that it's developing properly. The worst thing is when I forget to hate something, and a guy says, hi, and I go, hi. Oh, I hate him. Why did I do that? Damn, now I'm going to have to redouble my snubbing and looming just to get back to where we were. I hate so that it eats my brain and my heart and turns my life black. That's my inner dialogue. Welcome to the Scott Redmond Inner Dialogue Workshop. It's like when I snore. You're a loser, you're from a long line of losers, you're an asshole, and you'll never amount to anything. That's the way I sleep. So these resentments against myself, it says in our book, it says when it was remorse, we were sore at ourselves. I have had to be extremely attentive to. And I have had to seek guidance. I've had to write the inventory that I just described about sex, about, I'll never forget when I got off a podium, it was one of the first long talks I ever gave, and this female newcomer walked up to me and complimented me on the talk, and she walked away, and I thought, she thinks I'm nice. Oh no. If she could have peeked into my brain for 1 second, she would have gone screaming into the street. Because I wanted to, show her the Serenity sausage. That's pretty much what I wanted to do. I didn't, that was the teaching for the day that I really, I wanted to lay it down. And if anyone's gonna, do something to her, it ought to be a nice guy, don't you think? My ability to think my way around reality is unbelievable. And one of the ways that I do it is I love him. He loves me. I know this. I know that we love each other. If you took what I'm apt to say about myself in the course of a day or a week and stack it up about what he thinks of me, it's absurd. It can't take place on the same planet. And I posed this question to men I sponsor lately. We do it on our retreat, and I'm going to do it again in a couple of weeks. Why am I so willing to believe the worst about myself? I don't feel that way about you. I don't feel that way about the women I love. When they call me, I don't go, there are a few of those guys too, believe me. But And it's this learned, driven, miserable self-assessment that keeps me safe from a lot of the wonderful things that life has to offer. So for me, I have had to do that inventory. I've had to read that inventory about sex, about food, about money, about being a father, about being a sponsor, about allowing myself to be sponsored. Now, is this self-obsession? Absolutely not. The time that I spend doing this is a fraction of the time that I used to spend pillaring myself, calling myself to task. It's a tiny, tiny bit of it. Here's self-obsession: writing it and not changing. That's self-obsession. Is the continual writing, and then not using 6 and 7 as a fulcrum for change. That's self-obsession. The self-examination's not, as long as I'm using it to kind of supercharge and super energize this incredible metamorphosis Alcoholics Anonymous has to offer me.
Thank you so much. How does one pursue the